Welcome to Leog 7.5. Focus on Jason.
I love that. We have these. I remember the Teen Titans would do that. You know, you have like the regular Teen Titans book, but then it'd be an issue that's all about Cyborg.
Yeah, that'd be the Teen Titans featuring Cyborg.
Yeah.
If only I had something to talk about. I don't.
You know, Jason, when we first brought you on as a guest, you had plenty to talk about. You were a filmmaker. You wasn't just some lame guy sitting in the living room talking about a podcast.
I haven't really produced anything since then, though. That's the problem.
We keep feeding him beer, that's why.
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Every
Exactly.
time
I'm
he's-
spending all my time here, drinking myself into a stupor and saying, "You really should be reading Iron Fist, you sons of bitches."
Yeah, it's hard to get work done when you're either drunk or going, oh, God, I wish I hadn't gotten so drunk.
Which is usually there are two phases in my life: drunk and wishing I wasn't so drunk as I was the night before.
Yeah, there's the Twitter feed that goes, ow, I feel like shit. And there's the Twitter feed that just says scotch. Okay.
Twitter.
Actual Twitter feed.
Actual Twitter
No,
feed.
Facebook status, but
Yes.
same thing. Anyway,
Based on a true post.
yeah, exactly.
Can I urge everybody to get off Twitter because it's kind of lame?
I don't think it's
Like,
a-
if you actually have something to say, just write it on Facebook where you can write a whole sentence.
dude. The
Please.
Twitter train has left the station, and everybody's on it but you, man.
That is true. Even I'm starting to pay attention to it now.
No, you're not.
I actually.
I'm going to be the John Henry against Twitter steam train.
You know how that story ended?
Yeah, and in the end, John Henry wins, and they throw him a big parade, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's celebrated, and there's a plaque and a statue.
They smashed the Twitter
Wait, they
servers
only
with
make
a
statues
hammer.
of dead guys.
That's true. They'll make statues of you and sing songs about you. And meanwhile, the Twitter Corporation will continue to rule the world, and everyone will live happily and go,
Leon of the league.
during their Twitter campouts for new employees, they'll all sing the Leon song. That'll be your honor.
So I got called out for my Twitter name recently.
You have a Twitter name?
Well, yeah. I mean, because my full name wouldn't fit on there.
Oh, my God.
Because somebody else had already used it or something like that. So I just thought, oh, let's have a C-Lab reference. I put Captain Murphy. And everyone was like, why are you calling yourself Captain? I was like, fucking C-Lab! Jesus, come on!
Come on, C-Lab's not so old that people can forget that, right?
I'm not sure I understand, though. There's lots of things that a captain could refer to.
Like Captain Morgan, spiced rum.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Captain Stubing, the Love Boat.
Yeah.
No,
Captain
Captain
Stubing.
Murphy, that's brilliant. I like that.
But Captain Murphy from C-Lab.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite fictional characters ever.
Really? See, I would never really watch Sea Loud.
Are you
Oh my
serious,
God.
dude?
I mean,
The
I've
first
seen
two
it.
seasons are
Yeah,
perfect.
Dr. Quinn and Captain Murphy are the show.
Medicine Woman?
No.
He is the only one that has any fucking sense in the entire C-Lab. Yeah, he's
He's the straight man on the show.
He's
pretty
the,
much.
He's the Leon of the show.
He is.
Oh, is that what it is?
He is. No, that's fair. That's fair. No, God, Captain Murphy, he's about to crawl into bed with Debbie, I think, and he's been wearing this fake mustache the whole episode.
Yeah.
And he's like, so, mustache on or mustache off? And she goes, mustache off, please. Too bad. And he turns the light off.
If there's any two cartoon characters I get compared to as I'm walking down the street, it's Dr. Quinn and Frylock.
Oh, man, first time I saw Aqua Teen, I was like, shit, that's Leon. That's Leon.
That's what makes me laugh because I hated that show. I wouldn't watch it. It wasn't until Jason was going on, dude, you were so Frylock. And I was like, what? Okay, I'll give it a second chance.
It's only because there's like 3 black cartoon characters who aren't musicians. That's why.
Well, you know what? If we were going to do analogs to the Aqua Teen group, I mean, Corey would obviously be Carl. And, and
Yeah.
Carlisle would have to be Shake. And
okay, yeah.
Cyrus, that makes you Meatwad.
Oh,
Yeah, he's totally Meatwad.
Yeah.
wow. I'm gonna go be by myself.
Just so lovable and squishy and brain damaged.
I don't know. I think I could. How's his voice? Is like, oh, guys.
Yeah,
That's
just
pretty
like
much
that.
it right
Yeah.
there.
Oh my God! Some of you guys read the new Captain
No,
No,
America.
that's good.
Meatwad,
That's
please.
good. That's
Okay,
good.
sorry.
That's
Just sit
good.
over there.
But speaking of Captain America, just a brief segue here. That Marvel,
Wow. What?
that Marvel has just
You have
announced
Asperger's?
that they've solicited a 5-issue Captain America series called Reborn by Ed Brubaker and Brian Hitch in July. Reborn, I say to you again.
Yeah.
they're already bringing back Steve Rogers. Now, it's only been 2 years, and I
Dude,
think
that's
Brubaker's
conjecture.
shown
Okay, I'm
that-
sorry. Anybody who thought they were not going to bring back Steve Rogers,
I'm sure that they were, but 2 years?
Yeah.
I mean, especially with Brubaker rocking it out with Bucky the way he's been doing.
dude,
It's been a great book.
I like having Bucky in there temporarily, but Bucky is no Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
he just doesn't command that same kind of respect that Steve Rogers.
but
did.
he could.
You know, it's
not,
just
not for another 20 years.
Not while you're holding him back.
it's just such a sucker punch. It's like, okay, you kill off this icon and everybody knows you're going to bring him back, and then you do it so damned good when you fill the boots and the tights and everything with his replacement, and everybody starts getting used to that. And then you kick him in the nuts again by putting Bucky behind the shield.
Okay, let me show you.
Or by bringing Steve back behind the shield.
Let me present an opposite view. You come up with this concept of killing off an iconic character. I mean, there's no more, bigger iconic character than Captain America other than Superman himself. And then you bring in his sidekick to take his place. Wow, that's awesome.
That's organic.
And then over in your competition, they kill off Batman.
Again.
And suddenly one of the sidekicks is going to fill the cowl. Now, do you go ahead and go with your plan, or you go like, oh, fuck this, it's been co-opted?
Let me remind you that Batman has had how many movies and TV shows based on him? How many has Captain America had that were big? Batman is bigger than Captain America and has been ever since the beginning.
Right.
I mean, you call Captain America iconic, not compared to Batman.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, school kids know what, like little kids know what Batman's real name is. Most people don't know what Captain America's real name is.
True.
That's
I
true.
know we live in a bubble, but
No, well,
He's just done a
well,
better
what's your
job
point?
at protecting his secret identity.
I think the whole thing is like with Captain America, it doesn't matter as much who's in the role. It's the suit that's iconic. With Batman, that's not true. It's his whole personality and who Bruce Wayne is. It's such an important part of that character.
It's not Bruce Wayne. It's millionaire Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
or
millionaire
billionaire Bruce Wayne.
Billionaire.
But it is one. You're right. It is one of those things where like I never hear Bruce Wayne. I always hear millionaire Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's true. But that's just my point. Is I think it doesn't matter as much who's in the suit with Captain America. I think it makes it. They've almost run out of Steve Rogers stories to tell, which is why I'm like, hey, there's lots of Bucky stories to tell. I'd rather you keep going with this, especially now that it's a spy story now.
Oh, yeah.
But it always was, even before Bucky came into it. But the thing is, okay, you want to know what I miss?
Yeah.
I really like the Winter Soldier. I mean, him being Captain America is cool.
him
but-
as his own character.
Yeah, I liked him as his own
absolutely.
guy. I mean, the whole time he's in the Captain America suit, you never feel he himself is always very much aware of the fact that like I'm wearing the Captain America suit.
But that's what's so interesting about it is watching this guy grow into this as he's gradually getting more comforted. Of course he's uncomfortable in the suit. He would be awkward if he wasn't. What I like about the book is that, yeah, he's not just going, fuck you, I'm Captain America now. He's having doubts about it. And I think that as it goes on, it's about him becoming more secure in that role. That's why it's so interesting.
And if it were to go
and has
on,
so
that
many
would
more
be
tales
cool.
to tell.
It's just that it's not going to. and
Well,
I'm
you know
okay with
what? When they bring him back, all of the quibbles aside about the decisions they're making, it's probably going to be a pretty damn good
That's
story.
the thing.
Yeah,
as
well,
long as
Ed
it's still
Brubaker's writing it,
Yeah,
so.
still Ed Brubaker, so it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we covered that. So back to
Whoa.
Jason.
Hey, I'm sorry. But we're talking Brubaker. Are you guys reading Incognito?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm only now starting to read
One of the best
it's
series.
so good.
One of the best series on the shelves.
It
right
is.
now.
It really
Yeah.
is. I mean, it's only 3 issues in. And
Issue
every
3
one of
just
them is
came out, yeah.
so brilliant.
Okay. I actually have those, and I will sit and go through them. And
Yeah, you got to read them.
Yeah, and I really didn't think I was going to be into another deconstructionist superhero thing, which is really what it is. But it's got that noirish, kind of timeless Brubaker feeling to where you're not really sure what era it's set in. It's definitely got a retro vibe to it, but none of that is really important. It's all just kind of dressing. And it really is just about this scumbag who starts finding himself doing very heroic things.
Well, it's, you know what, you always, like, for years or decades, you hear about, like, man, I like to see a comic book from the villain's point of view. And you had the Joker had his own series, and it was meh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's one from a guy who's a super villain in the witness protection program who cannot quite give up what he's doing. But rather than like pull the law down on him by committing crimes, he's actually stopping them. But he's got this whole past that's coming back to haunt him. There's people who want him dead.
Yeah, and he's still a total bastard.
Oh yeah, he's a prick.
But he's doing good things,
Yeah.
And
See,
it's
that sounds awesome. And in the hands of a really competent storyteller of dark fiction like Brubaker, sounds like a
Yeah,
can't
it is.
miss.
It's maybe my new favorite book.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I can't argue with that because it's definitely at the top of my list. It's one of the first ones I read.
Can
and
you
it's,
tell me
it's-
who's doing the artwork for that?
Sean Phillips.
Okay.
And Sean Phillips
yeah,
is one
from-
of my favorite artists.
Who did he did the first arc on Criminal with Brubaker? Did he not?
He
Yes,
did. But
he did.
Did he not do the second and third?
Oh, did he? See, I didn't.
I
read
don't
the
know.
second and third. I don't know.
I've
Yeah.
only read the first arc.
Because I used to always, buy almost anything Sean Phillips did. He did for Wildstorm. What was it? What was Wildstorm's big team book?
Wildcats?
Wildcats. Yeah, he was drawing
He
Wildcats.
did Wildcats.
Yeah, he did
Well,
Wildcats.
a lot of people have done Wildcats.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true. It's true. But
Yeah.
he had a long run on Wildcats, in which he was what attracted me to buying Wildcats again, and I bought it until it ended.
Wasn't that a Leafield title originally?
Wildcats
it was Jim Lee.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, fair enough.
But it was Leafield-ish. It was during that time of Image when they first started.
Yeah.
when
And
they only
everybody
made
was
books for
Image.
13-year-olds.
Youngblood, Cyberforce, Wetworks.
It wasn't until Alan Moore came on and said, like, look, these can be better.
Yeah.
You have decent characters here. We can write better stories.
I didn't read any of the Alan Moore Wildcats. Were they better?
They were
good?
better. They weren't like what you think of as Alan Moore caliber, but they were so much better than what had come before.
Alan Moore was totally slumming it with everything he did
Yeah.
with Image. Like, you remember when he was doing the whole Violator series? He did Violator.
Yeah, I know.
Violator
He did
versus,
Violator?
He did a Violator miniseries. He did Violator versus Bad Rock miniseries.
Yeah.
It was just like,
Oh my
what the
God.
fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Alan
And
Moore's
they-
got to eat.
Yeah, and they didn't read it all like what you'd expect from Alan Moore. They were probably much more violent than your typical Image Spawn related comic, which is saying something.
It was that kind of thing where he didn't take it like I'm going to do something completely different than what you've done. He's like, hey, I respect what you guys are doing. I'm just going to do it a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm not going to strain a muscle on it. I'm probably going to write it in between writing really good stuff, but it's going to be better than what you're doing.
Speaking of Alan Moore, there's something out there. It's a little YouTube video. I need to post it on the forums, but it is Alan Moore reading Rorschach's journal,
Really?
and it is the most upsetting.
Is it really him reading it?
I think so, and it sounds creepy because he's got that gravelly, British drawl or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, and you just think. Alan Moore's fucked up as it is, and then he's reading Rorschach's journal, and it doesn't sound like Rorschach at all because but it's so damn creepy.
That's weird. I've got to see the link for that. That's
Yeah. Well, it's just an audio overlaid over Alan Moore sitting there wearing all of his Dungeons and Dragons rings or whatever the hell he's got on, looking like he's got the Witchblade glove on.
That's all, yeah, I know, right? I would love to sit down with him and actually hear him flat out tell me what he believes in spiritually, but I don't have 6 weeks, so
Right. You don't want to talk about the giant serpent and all that. Well, some mutual friends of ours, Randy and Dave from Rogues Gallery, they have this theory that Alan Moore is actually a diehard RPG gamer, and
this
to a
all
fault.
put on.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is just their theory. They're like, this is probably what he's like. Well, if you have a two-handed weapon, it gives you a +5 to your defenses, and basically that Alan Moore would be the worst motherfucker to be caught on an elevator with ever.
So he's playing GURPS steampunk.
Yeah,
all the time,
exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and you look at him and you're like, looking at all those crazy rings he wears, you're probably right. And he's got that big dwarven beard.
We should be careful talking about this because it means 10 people are going to comment on this post saying, "Why don't you guys have a D&D, Leon?"
No, shut up.
No D&D Leogs, no anime Leogs.
Do any of the league guys play? Do we?
Oh, you know what?
I did when I was in sixth
Okay,
grade.
next we're doing our chick show. I guess not like. Okay, our next show is going to be what? Our Wolverine
Next show should be the next full one. The
Yeah.
8 is going to be Wolverine, the X-Men,
Deadpool,
just stuff about that world because the Wolverine movie.
Yeah,
I gotta tell
and
you.
after that, we got our chick show. where
Yeah,
we bring
the woman of Leog.
we need a centerfold to go with that.
Hey,
You know,
now you're
so
talking.
We know
Knicks.
some photographers.
That's true.
We
But
just
I
gotta
have
get these
it
chicks in
on
some
good
bathing
authority that a lot of the women who will be showing up are into D&D.
Really?
So we may have to read up on some of this just
they'll-
to keep up.
Well, we're just there to host. Okay.
Well, we got to bring Carlisle on then.
No, we do. Not. That really does not have to
I've
happen.
played D&D a couple of times in the last year, which is like the first time I'd ever played it. It's a lot of fun, but it's too damn complicated.
Well, he can do that on a Coco where it'll be him going, "Oh yeah," and like one time we were there and we were playing with Eli Roth, and he rolled a 20 on his savings throw, and Corey can just go,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like Eli Roth. That guy's not cool.
Sorry.
What did he really play D&D with Eli Roth?
I don't. He'll probably say
Okay.
so. I don't know.
I think he played with Vin Diesel once. No.
No. I'm pretty
never
sure
mind.
he didn't play with Vin Diesel.
Never mind. Yeah, I think he just talked to him about it.
Now,
Anyway.
Vin Diesel is supposedly, according to him, a D&D fan. According to Carlisle,
Oh.
Vin Diesel has a tattoo of his D&D character's name on him.
There are YouTube videos that of Vin Diesel telling like Matt Lauer or some shit about his D&D character.
Okay, fair enough. So that is true then.
Yeah, for whatever that's worth.
I mean,
So-
I
that's
like
so sad.
no, but see, I like the fact that Vin Diesel. I mean, he's probably the only action star who's an out and out dork. Who's like, you know what? I got big like this because I wanted to be a superhero. I was like, you know what? That I can respect. You know, these guys who just do it because they just want to get laid, and that's all there is.
Why
to
did you
it,
get
or
all
whatever.
red?
Wait, why would
Cyrus?
you respect?
Why did I get all
Why
red?
would you respect the guy who's in the D&D
'Cause I took a bunch
more
of
than the guy who wants to get
steroids.
laid?
Because I got Flintstones chewable steroids.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're tasty. I just can't stop popping them.
That's weapons grade Flintstones chewable vitamin.
Hold on. By the way, those are my testicles on the floor over there near your feet. Can you grab those for me?
Is that what that is? I didn't even notice them.
Yeah, you forgot to shave your palms.
I thought it was some lint.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that, or a sack of very small marbles.
So yeah, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
we are really incapable of having a Dungeons and Dragons or RPG Leog. It could be cool, but we just don't know enough about it.
Seriously, for anybody who complained about our video game show,
Yeah.
we know next to nothing about
Yeah.
D&D or
Yeah.
manga or anime.
I mean, I know a decent amount about video games, but not a lot by any stretch of the imagination. I am not a hardcore gamer. I spend
Fortunately,
most
we-
of my time playing Rock Band.
Fortunately, yeah, you do. Fortunately, we had enough pros here to really fill in the gaps. I mean, I could go on and on about games, but to be honest, I was too fucking drunk to really contribute anything, and we had the pros there anyway.
We were
so-
all pretty wasted on that episode.
God, I was hammered.
It was a little.
I was just like, you Super Mario Kart. I will rape any of you at Golden. Oh, I'm empty.
But yeah,
I think most of our pros had a good time. They were pretty lit too. Some of them.
if we did an anime, all I could talk about is Ninja Scroll, Ghost in the Shell 1, which I really don't remember anything from at all, but I remember I saw it.
Yeah.
Akira.
Yeah. That's it.
Look,
that's all.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Oh,
Which I never even think of as anime.
He's kind of in his own league.
I mean, there's quite a few I could talk about, and yet there's so much. There's like you could never satisfy everybody.
No.
like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have shit to say about Dragon Ball Z
the
except
top
that it's
10
shit.
The top 10 most popular anime stuff that's out there right now, I have not seen a second of, and I'm not going to spend 6 months researching it just to do a show.
Oh,
because,
you'd hate yourself
To
if
be
you did.
fair,
Yep.
it's just
We'd hate you, too.
It doesn't generally attract me that much. I don't have an issue with it, but it's like a lot of things. I don't read a lot of Hemingway. I've read Hemingway, but he didn't spark anything in me,
Yeah.
so I didn't keep reading him.
yeah.
The
Well,
thing is, 90% of it is crap.
that's Sturgeon's Law. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
And part of the reason is because there's so much of it. I mean, within that, there's some stuff that's amazing. And Cyrus, I know that you would absolutely love Cowboy Bebop if you watched it.
I
Cowboy
want
Bebop
to.
is
I've
badass.
always heard that's
yeah.
great.
And once you watch that, you'd probably get into Samurai Champloo. Is it Champloo or Champloo?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you would go from one to the other. Everything else, I couldn't vouch for.
I find that generally with animation, I'm not as big a fan of it as you are. I mean, I really like it and respect it.
Sure.
But it has to be really good for me to sit
I
and just
understand.
watch
Yeah,
it.
really. And if you're an anime neophyte coming from other anime neophytes, the ones that Cyrus listed, those are really the ones that we would recommend. I mean, he was listing off stuff, and I was just kind of nodding my head. But Ninja Scroll is badass. The movie, the series is all right.
I watched the
There's a
first 2
series?
episodes
Yeah.
or something and went, not the same thing.
Oh,
at all.
no. Watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, we just did our anime episode.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Leog anime episode.
Thanks for coming along.
Shut the hell up.
Hey, you know what? But like talking about the video games, just kind of like talking about the last episode we did because that was epic. I mean, everybody else listening to it might have been like, "Man, it sure was long." It's like, no, you had no idea how long it took to put that together.
Dude, I
Yeah,
had to
and
cut,
kudos to Leon.
I had to cut 30 minutes out of that.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we all know which 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss that publicly.
Are we not?
but
Can I
no,
not tell everybody how I had almost a meltdown during that thing?
I'd rather we didn't. That's
Okay,
all.
fair enough, fair enough.
Don't want to ruffle any feathers
I'll
unnecessarily.
ruffle feathers. I don't give a goddamn.
In this particular
Leon
case, it
does
would be
not
easier
give a goddamn
to.
about ruffling feathers. That
Let's
is for damn
say
sure.
No.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
But regardless, for unspecified reasons, I had to cut out a certain portion of that Leog. And it's probably for the best because otherwise it would have been even longer than it already was,
Right.
some of you would still be listening to it.
That's true. And that's true. They'd be ready to do let's do this, and they're like, wait, I'm still listening to Leo.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and if you guys are interested, let us know, Legionnaires, League members. If maybe we'll do some little mini video game stuff with like me and Cyrus and Grant, the people that play regularly, just little tidbits, little hors d'oeuvres, I guess, talking about specific games or whatever.
Well, we will do
yeah,
more.
we can come back and do more. I
There
mean, the
are
thing
some
is-
more video game professionals that want to do this with us, have contacted me.
Right.
And it's just a matter of setting up
We can
a
do a
time
follow up.
for it.
Oh, cool.
And Clint Young, who was on, I mean, he was really excited.
Yeah,
he was
he
also
was-
really drunk, but he was really excited.
Him and Paul both contacted me to say what a great time they had.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And I saw Clint over the weekend. He's just like, man, I would love to come back just to talk about whatever you guys want to talk
They
about.
were
great.
both a lot of fun to hang out
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, because, and I think I posted something like this when you posted the companion to
Oh, yeah.
Leog 7. I was like, yeah, these guys are cool, and they're telling us what they're working on, and that was really cool. But then when you actually see their artwork, that's when you're really floored. It was like, oh, damn, these guys got talent.
And I gotta
Yeah, I was
apologize
bringing in scrubs.
I got to apologize to everyone for not doing that myself, but it was
it's
one of
cool.
those like, fuck, I'm getting this edited last minute again, and it's just like like I said, it was a long edit. It was a pain to put
No,
together.
it was. It took weeks to get everything together.
Yeah.
The recording session went long,
and I was just
we
like,
had a
well,
ton
they,
of people in the
they
house.
said all the website stuff on the audio. That's good enough. And I was like, you know what, Leon will end up doing a companion, and I know you get paid a little bit extra by doing that.
Well,
So it's like, by all means, dude, take it.
yeah. But you know what? I mean, all in all, it was fun.
Yes.
And even though I got upset near the end, I had to it took me a couple days to calm down, but I realized, you know what? For the most part, this was a huge success.
Yeah.
And I know it couldn't be all things to all people, but I think it was a lot to
I
most.
had a great time, and having been a hardcore video game player for the past like 25 years or whatever, more.
Yeah.
I feel like, I only touched the tip of the iceberg. I didn't bring up like half the stuff that whenever someone says video games, go.
Right.
So
Well, we
Right.
have a lot of questions left over for that I want to take to when we do the follow up, which would be a good
Oh, cool.
point 5 to do in the near future.
Okay.
We're on the subject of video games. I wanted to bring something up. And,
Okay.
Right after the video game show, whoever did this hadn't heard the video game show yet. But I got home. I think Monday I go to work, and Grant and I work together. And Grant was like, "Hey, you got a DS? Have you got the GTA Chinatown for your DS?"
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "No, but I got it on my Amazon wish list, and I'm thinking I'm going to get it." And I got home that evening, and some member of Spill had sent it to me. I mean, I opened the box, and there it was.
Wow.
And I was like, holy
I
shit.
heard it was phenomenal. I heard it was like one of the best DS games ever.
dude, I'm totally hooked on it.
Really?
I'm loving it.
You have
And
to make him turn it off when the movie starts. He
That's
won't
true.
Do it on his
That's
own.
true. And the thing was, I was so thrilled. I came back to work the next day. I was bragging, and then I fired up my email, and one of the emails I got was from eBay saying like, "Hey, you won." Grand Theft Auto Chinatown. I completely forgot that I had been drunk over the weekend, and I did a jackass bid on a Chinatown. Where it was one of these where it was still a low number, and I threw in a lowball bid, knowing that I was going to lose, just to jack the price up on all the other jackasses who were going for it.
Oh, that's not nice.
I know. I mean, I was being a dick.
That was being a dick, yeah.
And it
Too
turns
bad
out-
there's 6 million of you out there. That's why I never go to eBay.
Right. But then I won it. So I'm like, oh, great. I have to pay for the one for a second copy.
And so, see, you actually totally deserve that. I felt bad for you before, but now I'm like,
No, I deserved it. But
You had that
well,
coming.
okay, it depends on your perspective. Because from the perspective of the person who was selling it, if not for me, he would have had to sell it at a really shitty price.
oh, was it really much worse? And you asked
Okay,
for much
look,
higher?
like the thing retails for about $30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I went to bid on it, the bid was at $4.
Jesus.
So I put in a bid for 11.
Well,
You
that's
paid
And I wanna-
$11 for
I-
Chinatown?
That's the thing. It's like I can't even bitch about that because I paid $11 for a second
Holy
copy.
shit.
But somebody sent me a free one. The thing is, I'm saying somebody because whoever it was, I don't want to say their real name because I don't know what their screen name was, and I tried to look them up through their real name so I could tell this person, "Thank you so much."
If you still have that other copy, I will give you $11 for it.
I'm hoping I can trade it for something else, perhaps another DS game that's cool as well.
Would you like the Phantom Hourglass?
What is that?
It's a Legend of Zelda game. It's fantastic. I have it.
Only gay people played Zelda games.
Yeah, I was
but-
thinking that too.
Not
Hey,
there's
you know what?
anything wrong
You're
with
about
that.
to you be careful. You're going to start off a shitstorm.
If you want, you can play with my balls. They're still over there on the floor next to you, I think.
you talk.
Playing with your balls would be less gay than playing Zelda.
No. Legend of Zelda: Phantom Hourglass is one of the best games.
Okay, fair enough.
It's fantastic.
And
you know what?
audience that's about to scream at me about that, I'm totally kidding. I've played most of the Zeldas myself.
No,
and
it's
I've never
excellent.
actually sucked a cock. So, yeah,
that we all can prove.
I might if I meet Eli Roth. Oh wait, that's a terrible Carlisle impression.
You know
I'm
what,
sorry.
Jason? I will. I mean, I keep hoping somebody's going to go like, "Oh, I got Dark Forces that I'm done with, and I'll trade that." But not Dark Forces. What's
Dark
what's
Forces?
No,
The
no,
Star
no.
Wars?
The
I was
Star
about to say
Wars.
that's kind of an old Star Wars
no,
game
not,
from like
yeah, not
15 years
that
ago.
one, not that
that
one.
new one.
What's
that's
the new one?
Dark something?
The one I was raving about.
Why
and I
can
saw the
I not
preview for
think of it?
I
It's
don't know.
Force
know.
Unleashed.
Force
Force
Unleashed.
Unleashed,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Force
on the
Unleashed.
DS?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
I didn't
that.
even know there was one on the DS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't play a DS, so I got a PSP. It's a handheld they make for adults. Anyway,
But
The DS has better games, man.
Yeah, but
Seriously.
man, people really rave. Like I was like, yeah, I got this DS, and everybody's like telling me like, no, you don't understand. That's
Yeah.
the best platform out there.
yeah, but can you upload free demos to it? Because I can on my PSP.
Can you really?
Yeah, if you have a PlayStation, it hooks up Bluetooth wise to your PSP, and you can download it to the
All right.
PlayStation and then hook it right up to
Okay,
your PS.
while we're on the topic, good DS games. Fire Emblem,
Okay.
Golden Sun.
Okay.
Those are those are RPGs.
I thought
so.
those were original, like Nintendo Game Boy.
I don't know where they came from. No, they're on the maybe they're like Game Boy Advance or something like that. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
was going to say I thought those were older.
Whatever.
Golden
I
Sun.
played them on the DS.
I have Golden Sun for the Game Boy Advance.
Okay, yeah, great game.
Yeah.
The Mario Kart on the DS.
Oh
is-
no, I love Mario Kart on
That
DS.
is the best iteration of Mario Kart since the
Man,
original.
that is so much fun.
Oh, it's a
when you get with other
blast!
people who have one.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah, that's a lot of
That Phantom Hourglass, Mama's Kitchen Cooking or something. I don't know. I'm just, yeah.
Jason, we will trade, and you will love Chinatown.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah, I've been wanting to get it.
Yeah.
I got GTA 4 and I only got like 25% of the way through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not because I didn't like it, just because I got distracted and did something else. But so there's all this treasure trove of other stuff to
Wait, you
play.
have
but-
GTA 4 on DS?
No, on the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the GTA series
Gotcha,
as a whole.
gotcha.
But,
Okay, y'all have totally lost me at this point. You might as well be speaking.
You have GTA
about
4.
anime.
Yeah, don't you?
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were talking about the GTA on the thing. Never mind. Anyway, Jason,
Jesus, you're easily confused. Go ahead.
Well, I've had 3 of your beers, so I'm now like,
What?
Look, I wanted to talk about you, who you are, Jason. The Jason our fans don't know because
This is a
usually
flashback
Bo's
to the
too
first
busy
one I was
yelling.
on.
Just kidding, Bo.
This is a flashback to the second Leog.
Yeah,
When-
way back when.
No, do you guys remember I was all reserved and quiet, and I was like, "Well, my favorite movies are The Empire Strikes Back and
You were
Texas
so
Chainsaw."
nervous about being here.
I was just trying not to step on any toes. Yeah, I wasn't nervous around you guys. I mean, give me a fucking
Yeah,
break.
you're nervous about being recorded.
Not even that. I was
No?
just like, I just didn't want to be offensive, you know. And,
You know, really, I keep saying this, but we really got to have an orientation program for the people who come here to be guests.
Sure.
Because no, I'm serious. Because they come in and they're like, we're natural. We're used to this. We're used to working around each other, and they kind of like they're reserved. They don't know when to come in. They don't want to step on toes. Or
oh
they're
my
nervous.
God, they made a dick joke.
Yeah, yeah. They don't want to cuss at first.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. Of people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, can I say that?" It's like, didn't you just hear me say "suck cock, motherfucker"?
Listen to the Christmas episode. You can get away with a lot.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure, how foul we can really get before someone goes, "Hey, seriously, this is a family website."
And the next 0.5 will be the aristocrats.
So this group of podcasters come on stage and they go, "The aristocrats."
Ta-da! So Jason,
Yeah.
what was the last movie you worked on?
Last movie.
Yes, well, you are a filmmaker.
Yeah, sort of. I guess I don't have.
Man, dude. Okay, this has to stop.
Oh shit! Here we go.
You're here, and we're like saying, "This is our guy. He makes films. He does things that we want to do. We love Jason. We envy his talent." And he goes like, "I make films, if you want to call them that."
Yeah, take the humbleness out of
Just-
the picture.
yeah,
and just
enough.
tell us
Well,
about
nobody's
damn
seen
movies.
them because they're sitting there on a shelf. you
I've
know.
seen them.
You've
I'm
seen
in
them.
some of them.
You were in the arguably the best one,
Oh,
actually.
okay, fair enough.
And you know what? I think you're a brilliant writer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
your
you.
writing is awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. Right now, we are working on a feature length, our first feature length. We're going to take that endeavor. And parts for both of you, actually, that were written specifically for both of you.
I like the sound
Believe
of
it or
that.
not. Yeah.
How much does it pay?
It does not pay at all.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
well, you might write it about Bo instead.
yeah. But we did some test shots. I spent about $400 on some prosthetics. That turns out we're not going to be able to use at all.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Why can't?
Yeah.
Why not? Out of curiosity.
Well, because it obviously looks like a mask.
Isn't there anything you can do? Isn't there anything in post you can do?
Yeah, and we played with it quite a bit, but we're like, you know what? We're just going to go back and rewrite the script, and we're rewriting all of that element out of it. Honestly, the script is becoming stronger. It is very much a David Cronenberg type.
Yay!
Yeah, it's very much body horror and paranoia and stuff like that. And of course, naturally, it's a horror movie. Yeah. But yeah, we did some test shots a couple of weeks ago, and we got a lot of good stuff out of there. But we're like, wow, we just spent the last 3 hours getting 15 seconds of footage, and we don't even know if that's going to work.
Hey, man, that's filmmaking. For
Yeah, I know. But yeah, we were like, well, we just shot the easy stuff. Let's take a look at the hard stuff, and we started really getting down to the nuts and bolts, and like, well, how is this going to work? How are we going to have this misshapen thing streak across the kitchen floor? Well, we could do it like this, and everything that we came up with was cheating. It was well, we cut away, which is great sometimes, but if you do it enough,
People notice. And
people
they can
notice
feel
that you're
cheated.
cheating.
Especially
that was
horror aficionados.
Right.
So the first to call you
Yeah.
on cheating. Like
Yeah,
that.
and that was one of the good things about Jaws is that they were forced into cheating sometimes, but they didn't have to do it all the time, and they struck that good balance, and it ended up being a classic because the shark was supposed to be seen a lot more. Well, if we had shown the shark in our film, it would have been just a laughable trauma piece of shit. So
Fair enough.
So yeah, we're rewriting right now. I mean, we've got all the gear. We've got some of the actors and actresses tapped to be in it. Angela.
Hey, man.
Oh,
who was
sweet.
in
love
Shamble.
tapping actresses.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can I help you with that?
Absolutely.
That's all right. It's okay. Mary never listens to these. So.
Yeah, and even if she did, she would just kind of
Like-
go, "Pff, good luck.
She's like, I totally support you in what you do. What do you do again?
Oh, no, that was Leon. He does a great impression of me.
Yeah, right. But
Now,
yeah,
I would know if you had been fooling around with my girlfriend because the next time we'd have sex, I'd be like, hey, I can't actually feel anything. What's that whistling sound?
That is fucked up.
it's like
That's the
feeding
most
a
fucked up thing I've ever heard you
like
say.
feeding a tin can to a whale.
Throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
I'd be offended if it wasn't true.
You could flip a coin in there.
But the only thing you can see right now, actually, is some of you have seen it. It's a fake trailer, a grindhouse trailer for an exploitation movie that doesn't actually exist, and our own Cyrus is in it. It's Project Ultra. I think it's up on my page,
With my one line.
and you could YouTube it, Project Ultra, and you'll probably know it when you see it. Yeah, you've got a couple of more
I
lines,
thought I
don't
only
you?
had one line, but it's a great line. That whole, hey, ladies, how about a ride on the fuck truck?
Is that just one line?
I think that's it. That's my only
well,
line.
it's a 2-minute trailer, so yeah.
There wasn't room for much more.
Right.
And you even got it while I was working, so.
Oh yeah, exactly. He was actually on the clock at the bar.
Yeah, I got paid for that.
That's really the only thing of mine you can see that's online right now. Rumor is there's some other stuff out there that you can see, but it's not supposed to be out there.
It'd be nice if it was. I mean, you got to tell his co-director, Craig. Nice guy. I've enjoyed hanging out with him on a couple occasions, but I don't think he gets this whole marketing a project part of it because he's just sitting on this stuff and no one can see it.
I love it. 6 months to shoot a film and go into post and get all the effects right, the sound right, and color correct it. And then it just goes on a shelf.
And
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, we wouldn't
show
want
it to
anybody
like
to-
10 of your friends in the living room.
Yep.
And say, wow, what are you going to do with it
Well,
next?
you
we
guys,
wouldn't want anyone to steal it or see it apparently.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been to those parties. What we'll do is we'll have the screening party, and you guys have been to all of them, I think.
Yeah.
We'll have the screening party, 40, 50 people show up, and then we'll start submitting it to festivals. And that's like 40, 50, 60 bucks a pop. And we'll get into one or two for every 10 that we submit to, and then it's like, okay, well, let's move on to the next one. Yeah. And that's it. Those are the only people that see it. Hey, but if you like one, if you'd like to see one,
hey man, we're in the age of YouTube.
I can't help but feel at this point that it would be more productive to just put these early shorts that you did this with. I mean, y'all are at the beginning of doing this stuff.
Right.
To put it out there in places where anyone can see it and vote on it rather than obscure film festivals. I mean, really, how are you going to get more people to see it?
I know.
I mean, what are you going to get more from a film festival than you would get
a bunch
from
of frustrated college students and hipster douches? Come on.
Yeah, well, it's time for me to start lobbying for that. And members of the league, send me an email, send me a message that you would like to see it, and I'll show that as evidence. And if we can't get it posted online, send me something, and maybe we can work out where I can send you a DVD where you can check it out.
In the meantime, why don't you give just a brief thing about each one of the things that you've got?
Right now, we've got...
While I go get a beer.
Yeah, go get a beer. Well, we've got 3 completed ones. The first one we did was back in 2005, where you can see me where I was like 20 pounds skinnier. 2004, 2005. And
that was that?
That was Lucidity.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Michael Keaton was in that one.
No.
Except they called it White Noise when I saw it.
That came out before White Noise, by the way.
I know. No, that's the thing. It's like I saw White Noise, I want to say 6 months to a year after your movie. I was like, well, shit, Jason's already done this.
It's there are some similar elements, yeah. But it actually has, for those of you that are fans of Brian Brushwood, he's one of the main characters in it, one of our good friends, who's going to be on the show at some point
when
in the near future.
When is he going to be on the show? Like, I keep wanting to bug him. He says, like, yeah, I want to do it. But then he's on the Tonight Show. I'm like, wow, he was just on the Tonight Show? Is he going to come here and do our show
He's
too?
totally game for doing it. I tried to bring him out to the last one, but he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
So... You know what? I'll try to bring him to the next one.
Okay.
I'll try to bring him to the one next week. But he's in it. And he just does a bang up job.
No, he's really good.
He did a fantastic job.
And, I mean, I know you're going to get to the Western, but I thought he was really good in the Western. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
That was our next one. Yeah,
that was the next one.
Yeah, the right hand of Kali.
Man, your writing on that was so good.
Thank you, man. Well, you read the feature length one.
Well, I just remember what I saw.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. It was one of my friends, another actor, Aaron Alexander, a guy who I ended up working with later. He described it as the Western version of Training Day.
Kinda.
And yeah. I mean, that's loose.
I mean, you know what, Jason? That movie broke my heart because everything about it is so good, except you weren't able to block the wind and the sound editing.
I know.
And the wind deserved its name in the credits because it had as many lines as the rest of you guys.
Well, the version you saw, we didn't have any wind muffler things on the mics.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of the problem. But as kind of a cheat, Craig had gone up and just decided, well, let's play it up. And he actually made the wind worse in that. And and it ended up being an experiment that ultimately didn't work, and that's the version most everyone has seen.
Okay,
but yeah, the right hand of Kali. It's a couple of assassins basically hunting some poor bastard out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Western, and then they there are a couple of twists and turns and everything, and I was proud of that because it had a lot of good dialogue, but we screwed up a lot of the shots, and
nobody knows that but you.
Okay, well there you go. No, it's perfect.
But I'm saying, I mean, when you create a piece of art, that's something I learned early on, which helped me get through a lot of things. I try to pass this on to people. When you're the person creating the art, you know what you wanted it to be. But everyone else looking at it assumes that everything they see is exactly how you wanted it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if something wasn't like you wanted it, you're the only person stewing about it. But the best for you to get over it.
Well, if you want to see any of these... Again, shoot me an email. Let me know. Maybe you send me $5 so I can make a DVD copy and for postage or something like that. We'll figure something out.
Okay.
But yeah, we have no illusions about making any profits over it. But we shot another one. We actually spent 4 days, shot 2 short films.
Yeah.
Around that time, and the second one was called Static, and that one has yet to be seen. But actually, a friend of the league, part-time leaguer, our trumpet player Paul, has more musical skill than we have ever let on.
Sure.
In his, I think, 2-3 appearances on the league. 2. He is doing this great Aphex Twin type score, and he's doing all of the sound for this horror film
love
called
Richard
Static.
James.
Now, see, Cyrus, now you're ready to welcome him back.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Cyrus
he's
is
gonna
all
do
like,
that for
hey, man,
us.
if Paul
Yeah.
can't show up, he's out.
And we're actually we've been working on it for a long time. I mean, it's been in various stages of production for the past 3 years, and a lot of those stages of production were, well, it's sitting there, and we should probably get to that at some
Hey,
point.
man, how long did it take Guns N' Roses to come out with
With Chinese Democracy, right? And
which
you know
was
what?
quickly forgotten the next week.
Static is going to be better than Chinese Democracy.
Which, admittedly, isn't going to be hard.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a short, spooky, low budget horror film, like the rest of my stuff. But I got an early glimpse of Paul's soundtrack, and holy shit!
Okay.
It is so damn good.
Oh, wait. You hear that sound?
What's that sound?
That sound is time for the official Leon shot of the week.
Is that?
Oh, that's
what
right.
this means.
Yes.
That's right.
This
That's right.
week we're
Usually-
going to be taking this shot of Crown Royale for...
What do we?
It's Jason's turn. Who are we shooting to?
Well,
Whose are we cheering to? It's your choice. It's your call, Jason.
shall I give my usual one? Or no. You know what? Here we go. If it's true, it's always happy hour here. Fuck, I don't even remember it. Anyway, here's to life.
All right.
Do
To
a
life.
shot along with
To
us.
life.
To life. I love that show.
Woo!
It burns so nice.
Crown is weird because most of the time I drink it is smooth, and then sometimes it'll be really rough.
Yeah.
This was a smooth one though.
That was a smooth one. I agree. It was smooth for me as well.
It was really good.
But yes, we
Thank
do
you.
always take a commemorative shot of whiskey before each.
Yeah.
recording
And we
session.
encourage you to do the same if you are of age, not an alcoholic, and you're about to listen to a league.
Or if you have a key to your parents' liquor cabinet,
Hey.
Uncle Leon is telling you that right now it's okay.
You know,
if
if
your
you-
parents have a problem, they can talk to me.
You know what you can do if you don't? If you take duct tape and put it on the glass and then smash it with a book, it doesn't make any sound. And you can just break through. The glass won't cut you that
From
way.
a seasoned pro.
I'm just kidding. I totally have no idea if that works or not. So you can, please don't do
it does
that.
in the movies.
Please don't do that.
But the last short film that we completed, and arguably the best one, was Shamble. The
Oh
zombie
yeah,
one.
okay. Shamble, I saw.
Yeah.
I was the star.
Yeah.
I was the star.
Cyrus was in that, and he totally debased himself for it. God bless him.
Oh my god, I was covered with fire ant bites because of that.
Were you really? Because
my God.
I
He was-
just as
yeah.
a zombie, and I know that's your dream.
Well, he was covered in fire ant bites and chocolate
Yeah.
and fake blood.
Oh my god, I couldn't eat chocolate for 3 months after that,
Oh,
or even
man.
smell it.
But he did a great job. It's basically it starts off as a horror film, and then it turns into a comedy, ostensibly.
Comedy hijinks between slow zombies and fast zombies.
That's right. And
Which
yeah,
I
we-
still
the
like
great debate.
I still like my extended script ending I gave you, but you're like, yeah, whatever. Okay, we're filming it now.
Hey man, he's a filmmaker.
I was just like, hey, I like fast zombies. Fuck you.
oh, I do too. It was very much a purist argument.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got into a couple of festivals with that one, 2 or 3 out of the. We had a little bit of success with it, not nearly as much as the first one. That's still our biggest festival success, Lucidity.
Wow.
Right.
Well, that's the one where
That was
I
your
ended
J
up-
horror.
Yeah, it was very J horror.
Yeah.
Our first one, that was the one that brought me into talks with New Line and Paramount, and
Oh, see, I didn't know about
yeah.
that.
You guys
You
didn't
didn't
know
tell us
that?
What happened to those talks?
It went on for a while. The producer of The Ring, he and I were emailing back and forth. One of the producers of The Ring.
And you're not anymore?
No, it just kind of faded away. Well, that's the thing with Hollywood, as you guys know. It's
Anybody
it's a
who
lot of
doesn't
talk.
know, Hollywood is all talk.
Yeah, but
so much talk.
I had dinners with producers and stuff like that, and
Well, at least you got some free donuts.
You mean you
though.
really?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
cannot celebrate until your movie has had its opening weekend.
that's absolutely
and
right.
come in somewhere in the top 5.
Well, you can't
Yeah.
celebrate till the check is cleared.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Because they'll be quick to send you a $39 check. You're like, hey, what? This supposed to be thousands here. Oh, we have production costs
Mm-hmm.
and
I mean, to be fair, Hollywood is looking from one thing: productivity, and people who can put stuff out and keep putting it out.
Yeah.
Which is why people like Seltzer and Freeberg keep getting their stuff produced,
Yeah.
because they can pump that shit out, and they know exactly the type of shit that looks good on a package that's going to sell to bumfuck, I'm just looking for something to do on a Saturday night couples,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you write a screenplay and you send it off, the thing you need to do next immediately is start writing your next one. Because if somebody does pick it up and read it, they're more than likely just by rote going to go like, huh, that's interesting. What else you got?
Yeah.
And if you don't have
Yeah.
a what else you got, then they're going
Yeah.
to toss it over their shoulder.
What you need to do is write for your budget. Don't write for what your magnum opus.
Right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you got to write
Yeah.
thinking.
Don't write the Transformers 3 or whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
write something that's simple and easy. I mean, even Quentin Tarantino. Look at Reservoir Dogs. That was dirt cheap to make. Like a lot of
Hell yeah!
Santa
All he had
Fe-
to do was take another movie and
Yeah.
rewrite
Take
it.
City on Fire.
I've seen City on Fire, and only very small parts of it are from.
You know
but
what?
those parts that are
but
taken
are word for word.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was totally willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but the fact that he tried to deny it,
He denied it,
completely-
that's right.
completely.
Well,
that's
when
what I was going to
I've-
bring up during the
I've
Led Zeppelin
never seen
discussion.
it. Yeah, I've never seen it. I hope to watch it one day.
Yeah.
It's like
It's really actually kind of
Quentin, really?
It's
Come on.
really kind of a mediocre film, actually. I mean,
Oh,
I
oh,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's
no. I'm sure
It's not that good.
There's so many of those that are like that. I mean, he did the smart thing. It's like, don't remake a movie that's a classic.
Yeah.
Take something. It's like what's his name with
Steven
Ocean's 11?
Soderbergh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Soderbergh. Like you watch the original Ocean's 11.
It's
like, hey,
kind of crappy.
Yeah, it's cool to see the Rat Pack, but yeah, it's not that.
It's
good
not a
movie.
good movie. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you remake something that's shitty.
I mean, like he, it didn't work out as well as Ocean's 11, but Solaris was a great idea of a film to
Yeah,
remake.
sure.
Another film that's like, most people are never going to see this because it's like 6 hours long.
Yeah,
But
and here's the thing: is that if you're a friend of Spill and you're a friend of the League, you probably already know this, but Tarantino borrows liberally.
Sure.
If I would go online and YouTube. What is it called? What the hell do we know?
Yeah, it's,
or who do you think you're fooling?
yeah, who do you?
Oh
think
yeah,
you're
no.
fooling?
Okay.
Yeah.
About that, who do you think you're fooling? Okay, he did the first one with Reservoir Dogs. We did the comparison to City on Fire, and I was on Quentin Tarantino's side when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, this guy has nailed him perfectly. Then he did a second one to Pulp Fiction,
and it's a stretch.
yeah,
It's
it
a
is a
big-
stretch.
it's a big
Where
stretch.
it's like, yeah, okay, he's taken from all these sources, but not only is it a stretch for this guy to like nail him on all the different sources he's taken it from, but it's like, dude, for you to make this movie, you spent a lot of energy that you yourself should have put into doing something original.
And
Exactly.
to be fair, by that point, Quentin was crediting his sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally,
So it's like you're not
Tarantino-
busted if Tarantino's going,
Yeah.
yeah, this is totally
He
from
ca-
this.
finally he
he
came
takes
around and said,
everything.
"Yeah, I'm stealing from these guys."
But
you know?
he's making something that's he's taking something not original and making something original from that.
Yes.
it's like it's
Yeah.
it's like
And I
advanced
can-
sampling in a way.
Yeah. That is a really good analogy. I think is advanced sampling. I mean, he's taking all of the hodgepodge of really a lot of movies that people haven't seen and that in a lot of cases aren't very good, and he's making something, well, arguably pretty damn
Well,
good.
he's even taking
He
things that are
was,
good.
anyway.
I mean, taking stuff from I know. And we're talking about the good Tarantino.
Yeah.
But he's taking stuff that we've all seen. It's all been in our consciousness. All these different things that are floating
Yeah.
around, we've all seen. And he's like grabbed them all, found a common thread, and put them together, sewed them together in a way that felt like, wow, you really made this all like
Yeah.
my whole childhood all makes sense
Yeah.
here, and I love you for that.
Well, he's talking about, like when he made the Kill Bill movies, everyone was saying, "Oh,
Yeah, I
they're
was-
so
I-
original."
I was
They're
done
s-
with him by that
They're
point.
so original, and really, a good portion of Kill Bill Volume 1 rips off Lady Snowblood.
Oh
Have
no,
you
no!
seen
There's
that?
it rips off like spaghetti westerns and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. But that being said, it's like listening to DJ Shadow or something like
Yeah,
that.
the
I'm like,
way
I
he
know
blends it
these
together is
I know
genius.
these sources. It's just so beautiful to watch it all blended together so well.
Right.
And I love the Kill Bill movies. I
See,
do, but I
it
totally
was
acknowledge
so obvious at that point where it's like, wow, I can't even enjoy this.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand that. It's really like listening to a mixtape.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
It's-
I can't argue with that.
Now,
because-
I got to say about that trailer for Inglourious Bastards, I am not impressed with that at all. And
I'm
people
not
keep
either.
raving to me about it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
honestly, this looks awful. To me.
It's the kind of thing where, like, whenever somebody raves to me about it, they always go like, and it's Tarantino doing it, so I can't wait. So a lot of it, they see that, and they're thinking about, in their head, what they think of when the Tarantino name comes up, and
Yeah.
they're extrapolating on what it can be. But I'm thinking about like my new associations with Tarantino, and I'm going like, this better be, this should be better. This needs to be better than what I'm looking
This
at
looks
right
like
now.
he sold it like, imagine we take what we did with Grindhouse
Yes.
and mix it with the
Yes.
Dirty Dozen.
Well,
but
here's-
that's not good.
Here's
That's not
where it
good.
crosses the threshold with me. I mean, there's a lot of subtlety and a lot of over-the-top stuff in Reservoir Dogs. But it's all at the right time.
Sure.
Same thing with Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of moments where it's subtle, where it's supposed to be. Well, everything in Kill Bill and everything in the trailer of Inglourious Basterds, sure, we're just judging it by the trailer, but everything in the trailer of Inglourious Basterds seems like a parody, almost like they're making fun of it, like Brad Pitt's accent and everything.
Yes.
I'm Aldo Raines. I want my Nazi scalps.
It's so exaggerated.
It's very
parody.
exaggerated.
It's this whole kind of new sort of like, I don't know, way to go with these directors, like him and Rodriguez and Zack Snyder and maybe even Eli Roth. I don't know if I should include him in this, but like especially those first three guys, they have this way of doing these movies that are really in your face and over the top without any subtlety whatsoever.
Right.
And they're trading off, the things you've seen before. It's kind of like, hey, it's over the top, but it's ironic, and we're giving you the nudge and the wink, so you know what we're doing, right? And you're in on the joke that we're telling. And I'm kind of like, guys, I don't need three people doing that.
Right.
One guy is almost too much.
Right. Well, it's like the scene in Pulp Fiction. I think when Marvin gets shot in the face. I think if Tarantino made it now, it would be fucking horrible. But when he made it then, it was very understated when John Travolta said, "Oh shit, I just shot Marvin in the face."
Oh yeah, well, it's because Tarantino forgot that he was making movies about people at one point. At some point between Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, he went, you know what? These are just movies about the effects and the colors and the way the blood looks on screen.
Well,
it's not. And his first two movies are totally about real people. They seem like they could be real people. You know?
Yes.
I wish we had Roger Avery here to
I
argue
wonder
the
when
point.
that might have something to do
yeah.
with it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I don't think he could pull off that scene now after watching the Kill Bill movies and watching Inglourious Basterds. There is some subtlety there, but I think it's all in the hands of the actors. But in the Inglourious Basterds trailer, if you take that Tarantino and you redo that scene where they accidentally shoot Marvin in the face in Pulp Fiction, you will have someone go, "Oh, hot damn, I just blew Marvin's head off." You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, you'd have Samuel L. Jackson picking his ear or eyeball out of his teeth or something like that. Just something, thing over the line that wasn't even necessary to get across what the scene had already
No,
accomplished.
you're right. Pulp Fiction had a way of being grounded so much of the time that when it did something shocking, it was really shocking.
Right.
And it did it over and over.
Well, I mean, the most noticeable when John Travolta gets killed, where you're just like, and it's this quiet, very quiet moment, and then all of a sudden it's just interrupted by incredibly loud gunfire and a very violent death of a major character in the film, something you completely didn't expect.
There's so many moments throughout that entire movie. I mean, Marvin getting shot, Travolta getting shot, but the fact is, like, the whole story, when them walking, talking, about to go kill a bunch of guys, but telling a story about Marcellus Wallace and how he killed Tony Rakahara. I mean, it seems like two guys bantering. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's good dialogue, but you don't think about it until later when Travolta's out with Uma Thurman and she ODs. It recalls that memory of that whole talk. And you're going, holy shit!
Yeah.
What is this guy gonna fucking do?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And you
that
feel
whole-
his fear.
Yeah.
That whole communion among assassins, that whole thing was really kind of borrowed from the remake of The Killers with Lee Marvin and Clu Gulager.
Yes, that's true.
It
Well
was-
acknowledged, though.
Yeah. But it was. You watch that. Go back and watch that. It's a damn good movie. It's older, but give it its chance.
The poster is actually worth a lot now because of its association to Pulp Fiction.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, but it's two assassins wearing suits, very much like Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield, and it's Clu Gulager and Lee Marvin in this one.
I believe that's pronounced Gallagher.
What did I Gulager? Oh, no, it's Gulager.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wish that he would go back and the Vega Brothers script that was originally the thing that tied together Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, where it was they were, because Vincent Vega and what's his
Michael
name?
Madsen,
Michael Madsen's character,
Mr. Blonde.
Yeah, but he's something Vega too.
Victor Vega.
Victor Vega.
Is
it
it Victor
Victor
Vega?
I don't remember. But anyway, they're supposed to be brothers, and the idea was there was going to be a movie that was a prequel with the two of them doing stuff.
Yeah, I know, prequel.
But it was Roger Avery was involved, so it was like,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
so
that changes
that's
everything.
But I
Yeah.
think that's why it never got made.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. And Roger Avery and Tarantino need to fix that shit up between them and go
Is
back
Roger
and start
Avery
making good
is he
movies.
in jail or after running over those people?
I haven't heard anything
Wait,
about running over.
no, I
people.
think you're thinking of Eric Red.
No. Roger Avery was like some kind of drunk driving thing where he
Oh,
killed
no
somebody
kidding?
in his car. Yeah, it was like
Oh,
a year or two
man.
ago.
I don't even remember.
It was a big
that.
deal.
Is that during all the Silent Hill promotion stuff?
I don't know.
And the
But
way
it was
he
either last
fucked
year or
that
the year
up?
before. And I was like,
that
oh,
probably
that
had
sucks,
more
man.
to do with the direction of the film, which he obviously isn't as good at as he is at writing. So,
Right. Yeah. No. Tarantino's
Silent
a
Hill
better
should have been
director.
David Lynch.
Roger Avery's a better writer.
Yeah.
You know what? They're like David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, no,
It's like separately, you guys are okay, I guess.
But when they work together, yeah. No, I mean, try and tell me that there is a Van Halen album without David Lee Roth that is
worth
anywhere
listening to.
near
No.
as good. I mean, even if you're going to make the argument, no, it's not that bad, I'll accept that you got some enjoyment out of
Sure.
it. But do not tell me that there's a single one of those made that even holds a candle
And not
to
a candle.
any of the David Lee Roth
Yeah.
ones. I'm sorry. Leon and I are just a little bit
I
Van
am
Halen.
passionate about that.
We like our Van Halen.
That's true.
And
Not
not
Van
Hagar.
Hagar.
No.
And once they start bringing in new guys, I'm like, why are you guys fucking around?
Dude, I
Come
always
on.
say, people, you get these discussions because we're music geeks too, and these discussions
Sure.
sometimes, what's your favorite yada yada from the song, or my favorite drum beat ever, even though it's not, it's produced, is the beginning of Hot for Teacher.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's just awesome.
Yeah,
It gets my
yeah.
heart racing.
Well, I mean, and you think about Van Halen, it's like, man, it's these four guys who could get together and just play like the most incredible, rock music.
Yeah.
And yet just could not get along. Seemingly mostly because of Eddie Van Halen, who's such a diva, or just he hates lead
kicked
singers.
his own brother out of the band.
Well, and then they go on tour recently, and then he kicks out Michael Anthony to put his son in there.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Is there no point when you kind of look at things, go like, wow, maybe I'm the problem?
You should hear some of the stuff Valerie Bertinelli has to say about him. It's not pretty.
Oh, such as.
Just that he was the world's biggest egotist jerk. He would get drunk and get not physically abusive, but very psychologically.
Well,
abusive.
he had a huge drinking problem.
Yeah.
It's like at the time when he started, not only was he like the most talented guitarist since Jimi Hendrix, and I'm sorry, I mean to me, after Jimmy, Eddie is the guy. He's number 2
I agree.
of
Yeah.
all time.
He was
I
amazing.
don't know if I agree, but he is amazing.
Yeah, and he was so young and handsome, and he just drank himself into looking like a gargoyle.
Oh, I know. Have you seen him lately?
Yes.
Oh, he's freakish looking.
He is.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, dude, you're like a new Chet Baker. What the
But
fuck?
we segued into Van Halen while you were gone. Jason had to go take the requisite bathroom break, and we were all like, all right, he's gone. Now let's talk about heavy metal. and while we're at it, AC/DC, fucking A.
Oh, and actually, David Lee Roth keeps asking if he can be on a Leog, but we're like, fuck you, dude.
No, I can't afford the amount of liquor that would be necessary to have
He would
David
totally
Lee
take over this show. You think Bo takes over this show?
Roth. David Lee Roth would be in charge. That's
He
true.
totally would.
That's true. I don't know what the fuck he would talk about that would have anything to do with what we talk about.
Yeah. Oh man, it's like your favorite Chinese restaurants.
Sound
You
like
like what's up front, but you don't want to know what goes behind the scenes.
I think that was Wolfman Jack you were doing there.
It's somewhere in between.
Yeah. It was a little
Hey
too
man, but I tell you
Wolfmanish.
what, man, you think of David Lee Roth by himself like being a joke, and somebody when he performed here at Stubbs, that old guy George who died, God rest his soul, gave me tickets. He said, "Hey, you want tickets to go see David Lee Roth?"
George died?
Oh, you didn't know that?
I'm sorry. George is a guy who's been coming to these screenings since
Yeah.
I started doing them, and he's the nicest.
Yeah, he
sweetest
was
fella.
the nicest guy.
Oh, not
Oh my God,
not
I
that
had
George.
no
Yeah,
idea
that's why
he
you
had
haven't seen him.
died.
Yeah, he died. He died last year.
Oh, my
I know,
God.
you know what? I had the same reaction you did because he had died a while before I knew.
Because those type of guys, the guys who come in just because they like to see movies, they come and go.
I mean,
And
they call
figured he
prize
just-
whores because they don't just go to free movies. They go
Yeah.
to like car dealerships to get the free hot
Yeah,
dogs.
they go out of their way to go to get.
Matter of
tickets
fact,
to
there is a
all the
documentary
free
called
movies.
Prize Whores. And
Oh,
if you
yeah.
see it, George is in it.
A locally directed one by
That you-
Jen Garrison.
which is illegal
Yeah,
to produce because several of them turned around and threatened to sue.
oh,
is that right?
really?
And they never got them to sign non-disclosure.
They didn't get them to sign releases.
I guess because they all threatened to sue, and it was like,
Ah.
no, dude, if we filmed you, you said it on there, then we can use it, which is the way it works.
Yeah.
Unless they haven't signed disclosure forms.
Shit, even I know that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
Well,
So
yeah.
that's why it sits on local shelves only.
Oh, that's
I
too
guess
bad.
maybe they were smart enough to put it online at least, So maybe you can find it if you
I think I
Google
heard at
Prize
one point
Wars.
that it was online. I could be wrong about that.
I'm sure it is somewhere.
I haven't
it's
seen
actually
it
a very
yet.
entertaining documentary.
I really want to see it.
But there are
it's-
people, I bet you, in every town who are like this. They
Oh, yeah.
sit and they listen
Yeah.
to radio stations.
Yeah, listen to radio stations, go on websites just to find out where all the free stuff is.
Yeah, where the free stuff is and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
and they'll
Not
go.
just
They'll
movie
wait in
passes.
line for 2 hours just to get the
But
free
man,
stuff.
George was like the only guy of that whole group of people that I totally adored.
Oh, I
Thought he
know.
was the
I really
sweetest
liked him
guy.
too. I mean, he smoked all the time, but he was funny. I mean,
He was a character.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Hell, we've got a couple of league members who just wait for us to say, "Hey, we're having a league recording," and then they show up and drink all the booze and eat all the food, get drunk, throw up in the bushes, interrupt conversations.
Hey, price of fame. But he gave me tickets to see David Lee Roth, and I couldn't get anybody to go. They were like, David Lee Roth, and even I was like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna go. He was awesome. I mean,
I've heard okay, David Lee Roth solo albums beat the shit out of Van Halen albums without David Lee Roth. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I don't know about beat the shit out of him, but they are more listenable.
They're much more entertaining.
Yeah.
Crazy from the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat 'em and smile.
Exactly.
yeah.
I'll take a bottle of anything and a jelly donut to go.
Man, you know what? When I was a kid, him covering "Just a Gigolo,"
Yes.
I loved that.
Hell, I mean that you know what? You laugh all you want. Everybody sings that song. You could not go to a karaoke without somebody doing that.
Oh yeah, well, I like.
And
to
they
think
do
it's-
his version of it. They don't
Yeah.
do the Louis Prima version.
It should
They do
be the
David
Louis
Lee Roth
Prima version.
And I
But,
love.
yeah.
It's funny. My girlfriend Mary hates that song. And
Really?
she won't listen to Louis Prima because of that. I try
Oh,
to play the
that's
rest of
fucked
like
up.
the best of Louis Prima.
Louis Prima's got some great songs.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Jumping.
Jump, Jive, and Wail,
Yeah,
that
Jump,
old
Jive,
Black
and Wail.
Magic.
he
Oh
was
my
the
God.
Italian Louis Armstrong
Yeah.
knockoff. But
Yeah.
still,
Well, he had a
it's-
lot more energy than Louis Armstrong.
He was awesome.
yeah. No, I love Louis Prima. Don't get me
I'm
wrong.
a big Louis Prima
Well, I want to
fan.
go back to Jason here, and you wanted to talk about some of the comic books that you were into right now.
Oh yeah, and this is something. God, I know I've got a hump to overcome on this. I mean, I talked about Incognito, so
Yeah.
that's a great one. Leon and I bonded over that one. But honestly, the comic book that you guys are not reading right now is one of IDW's G.I. Joe comics, and I mentioned this over email to you guys earlier today. G.I. Joe Cobra.
Now I'm thinking like I've always blown GI Joe off.
I know.
Don't even come in on.
I was going to go like Jason has always
don't,
just blown G.I. Joe.
Don't. But I guess there must be some momentum because I'm hearing you talking about this comic and then this new G.I. Joe movie that's coming on.
Yeah, fuck the
Cartoon
movie.
Network.
No.
It's written by Warren Ellis.
Oh, the Warren Ellis, the Cartoon Network one. Yeah.
Is it a series or a movie?
It is. It's kind of like Clone Wars, where they show like 5 minutes every night. I think.
Oh, really?
I think
wait,
tomorrow.
wait. Back up. There is a Cartoon Network animated version of G.I. Joe written by Warren Ellis.
Right. That's what we're talking about.
Because I saw last week on Cartoon Network, he's like,
Yeah.
okay, Saturday we're showing the G.I. Joe movie.
They're showing the full thing. It's like an hour long.
Okay, so that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
little segments that they're putting together.
Yeah.
Because I knew about that, and then talking to Grant about it, he's like, hey, do you know Warren Ellis wrote that? I was like, no shit.
He totally
Well, I've
scoffs
gotta
at
watch
it.
Okay.
In fact, in his Twitter today, he said, "Hey, check out this GI Joe thing I wrote for laughs (parentheses and cash). But apparently, it's actually pretty damn good."
Well,
Yeah.
Warren Ellis wrote it. Even his worst stuff is usually at least worth a look.
Yeah. But there are 3 different GI Joe titles right now. There's GI Joe Origins, and then GI Joe Cobra. And as I described it to Cyrus and Leon earlier today, G.I. Joe Cobra is like Ed Brubaker writing a military espionage comic that happens to have a third-tier G.I. Joe character in it, and he's infiltrating Cobra at the earlier stages.
Wow.
It is really damn good. It's like Sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It honestly, and I'm not just saying this because of my G.I. Joe love, because none of that is there. It really doesn't have that whole and there's Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and there's the ninja stuff.
So the
and
rest of the
Destro.
village people don't show up.
Right. It's very subtle, and it's very this character Chuckles. I know. No, I laughed at him when I was a
Echo the
kid.
Clown.
Yeah, no, I laughed at him when I was a kid, and I was like, this guy's lame. But he is their undercover guy, and he's infiltrating the Cobra organization. I mean, and it's all like them putting bags over his head and throwing him into a van and everything.
Hazed?
Yeah. Yeah, he has to carry a cherry up his ass. And But you've got these characters that it's introducing you to, and it's on a very real world level, and you're like, oh shit, that's Baroness, and it is really, really solidly written. And for the life of me, I can't remember who writes it, because the two other G.I. Joe comics right now, Larry Hama is writing one of them, Chuck Dixon is writing the other.
Okay, they were the two big G.I. Joe writers.
Well,
back
Larry
in the day.
Hama wrote all of them.
I thought Chuck Dixon wrote some of them.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong,
Fair
but and those are good.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little hard to follow. G.I. Joe Origins and then the regular G.I. Joe series, they're good. They're definitely worth reading. And Cyrus is looking up the one whoever wrote the Origins
I'm
right
trying
now,
to.
or Cobra
when
right
you
now.
Google G.I. Joe Cobra, guess how many results you get?
Oh yeah. Try G.I. Joe Cobra IDW.
Yeah, you get 8 billion results. Wait, 9 billion.
Yeah, but it is so damned good, and it's just got a bunch of third-tier characters, and it really is kind of the underdog of IDW's G.I. Joe line after they won the license from DDP, I think, or Devil's Due. Devil's Due is what it was.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, God, it's so good. But yeah, there's that. What else am I reading? Immortal Iron Fist.
So it's still good, even without Brubaker.
Actually, believe it or not, it kind of faltered there for a minute when he passed the reins over to Swarzynski. But right now,
It's written by Mike Costa and Christos N. Gage.
Oh,
Christos
that guy.
Gage. Yeah.
and the
okay,
artist
Christos.
is Antonio Fuso.
Yeah, it's damn good. So G.I. Joe Cobra.
All right.
Check it out. There are only 2 issues out right now. It's honestly one of the best comics, my G.I. Joe love notwithstanding.
Well, the thing I was reading here was raving about it too. It's like, man, I don't even like G.I. Joe, and this is the G.I. Joe I if someone had shown me when I was a kid, I would have gone, oh, this is awesome.
It is a hardcore espionage comic. It's so well written.
Said the G.I. Joe comic I didn't even know I was waiting my whole life
Yeah,
for.
and I'm a big Joe fan, and I'm just kind of lukewarm on the others, but this one is badass. But back to Immortal Iron Fist, about to be canceled.
Is it?
I thought it was a huge success.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, you guys didn't know that?
I didn't know that. I
yeah.
love Immortal Iron Fist.
Yeah, no. In the most recent issue of Previews, which actually back before Comic Pants crashed and is being rebuilt at the moment, I wrote the write up with Randy about the upcoming comics.
Yeah.
They solicited Immortal Iron Fist number 27 as the series finale.
Okay, kids, you hear that? We've been promoting this comic for a while now. If you've read it and you're starting to like it yourself, it's time to send an email to Marvel and let them
writing
know.
those letters and buying.
They've already
comics.
said that they're going to do a mini series with some of the supporting characters, but the main series itself is going under.
That's such a
and
shame.
it is so damn good. It's all this kung fu mysticism and epic fantasy adventure, and great characterization.
Mixed with sort of gritty, almost detective-like stuff at points.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. But I mean, right now, it is Danny Rand and the other Iron Fists from different dimensions, basically, the other immortal weapons, trapped in hell and being forced to fight as gladiators.
Yeah, and then finding out that the first Iron Fist is there, and he's like this really old man, right? Like seemingly, couldn't hurt a fly. And Danny's kind of becoming friends with him by tapping Morse code on his cell. And then they force them. They're like, okay, now you two have to fight. And Danny's like, well, I can't fight him. He's just an old man. And the other Iron Fists are like, Danny, you might want to turn around. And he's turned into this massive, bulking, like, all right, are you ready? Sorry, Danny, I like you, kid.
So you mean
but-
like in that last fight in the story of Ricky? When the guy hulks out?
Not quite.
Well,
but
it's he's hulking out to the level of being like not a shriveled old man anymore.
Yeah.
It's like once he puts on the Iron Fist power, he's full on.
But the latest issue came out as of this recording on Wednesday, and there's another twist to that. And,
I haven't read it
but
yet.
it is so damn good, and it's almost over.
Damn.
So there are some trades coming out, but it's been so good.
Which makes it a good book to buy the trades of, because you know that the story's going to come to an end.
That's what I've been looking to do.
And it really plays up the friendship between Danny and Luke Cage, which I think has always been one of the strong points of those characters. You know.
True.
It's really, really good.
I was so hoping this would take off, because I thought it would be great if it created that little niche inside of Marvel of bringing back all that kung fu stuff.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
Daughters of the Dragon,
That
and
late
Master of
70s, Shang-Chi,
Whoa,
Master of
and all
Kung
that
Fu.
stuff.
The Daughters of the Dragon they brought back as
Yes,
Heroes
but-
for Hire. But the thing is, what I want is for them to reprint those classic Shang-Chi Master Kung Fu's that were drawn by Paul Gulacy.
Oh.
They were so cinematic, and they
Awesome.
always come so close. It's like, God damn it, reprint those. Those are some of the
I
greatest
don't know
comics
if you
ever.
guys have seen this, but in my hallway, framed, is the first appearance of Shang-Chi.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really not worth all that much or anything, but it's it's the
It's just, you just love that issue
because
that
I
was
love it.
fucking
Yeah,
great comics.
It's right up there with my Spider-Man
So
'97.
what was
and
the first appearance? Because I didn't know if it was Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. in
It's
the
Deadly
magazine.
Hands of Kung Fu, like number 17 or something like that.
I so
Okay.
miss those days when everybody saw Enter the Dragon. And
Oh,
went,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I've got to learn kung fu.
Yeah.
And every comic,
Absolutely.
at some level that was being published, reminded you of that because it had that ad in it.
Yeah.
With that dude, remember that? The guy's like, learn the Black Dragon.
Yes, I do.
school.
I do.
yeah.
Well, I said the first R-rated movie I ever saw was Return of the Dragon. Which I love that
Bruce
movie.
Lee
'Cause-
or Bruce?
No, it's Bruce Lee.
Oh, is that Bruce
It's
Lee?
really
I
Bruce
don't-
Lee.
I-
And-
oh.
and it's the very first appearance of Chuck Norris.
Uh-huh.
Because in the very end, he fights and kills Chuck Norris in the Roman Coliseum. But it's got the thing where he's staying with the uncle and who has the Chinese restaurant, and it has the black thugs come in, and everything is overdubbed. They're all like, "Say, man, you got any Chinese spare ribs? Ain't you got no spare ribs?"
It's like The Last Dragon.
Is that what that's like?
But yeah, I mean, you get all that shit in the front. It's got some great fights, and then a showdown between him and Chuck Norris, who had never appeared on film before.
Yeah, he actually fought a lot of the other big martial arts stars
Yeah.
later in there.
It's like a mustacheless Chuck
he even
Norris.
Yeah, with no mustache.
He even fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, that was in Game of Death.
Game of
it
Death,
was.
that's
right.
Which
Oh.
was the film that he died filming in.
Right.
Yeah,
but
yeah. And if you guys are looking to get into Kung Fu, watch Game of Death, but feel free to go ahead and skip ahead
Yeah,
to the
you wanna-
last scene where
yeah.
he's fighting Kareem
Yeah, you basically
Abdul-Jabbar.
want to fast forward to the fight.
That is an awesome fight
It is a-
scene.
it is an awesome
Well,
fight,
it's because
yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a mutant with his long ass limbs, and watching him fight and do
And they
kicks
play that up.
at Bruce Lee, who isn't that big of a guy. It's just like it's like watching a really awesome video game.
Well, it's that great
It really
scene
is.
where Jabbar kicks him. He flies back. He looks at his shirt, and the footprint covers his entire chest.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's fantastic,
as-
and that's where they get the where Tarantino got the yellow and black jumpsuit
Yes,
from
it
to
is.
Kill Bill.
As far as
Exactly.
Bruce Lee movies go, though, the two best are Enter the Dragon and the Chinese
Chinese
Connection.
Chinese
Connection.
Connection,
Yeah.
which was
It
later
depends
made
on
into Fist of Legend.
Well, it depends
Yeah.
if you, where you watch it too, because that and Fists of Fury, their titles are reversed
true.
in Europe.
That's
Oh
very
yeah.
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, Enter the Dragon. For those of you that haven't seen it, that is one of the best damn kung fu action movies ever.
And
And after you watch it, you want to go watch the Kentucky Fried Movie.
I was
where-
gonna say
where they do
that.
a great parody
the
of it.
the single best spoof ever.
And
probably.
if you still haven't had enough, you can go watch Balls of Fury, which is another parody
which
of
is
that.
funny if you like that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little too much.
It's got,
by the
Jim-
time you get done, you'll be like, okay, that's enough of that.
It's got Jim Kelly in it,
Yeah.
and what's his name, John Saxon.
Yeah.
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 There's lots
and
of
it's-
names from that time.
Yeah, from that era. I mean,
Yeah, during that era, John Saxon made so many action sci-fi movies.
yeah. I mean,
That-
really, that is one of the ultimate grindhouse type movies.
That joke in was it Fistful of Yen, I believe is what it was called inside of
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Movie, where the villain cuts off the head of one of the prisoners and goes, "Now take him to be tortured."
and that really has one
Yeah,
of the.
the next guy is like, I don't care what you do to me, I won't talk. Take him to
Detroit.
No, not that. No, please, no.
Which would even be more painful now, apparently.
RoboCop's in Detroit. No. The Enter the Dragon has one of the best villains too. I just love that bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, anybody who can take off their hand and put on other
A little
attachment
Wolverine claw.
things.
Yeah. I used to actually have a velvet Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon with the claw marks.
Oh, that's
on it.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome.
Man, the 70s was all about those black velvet.
I know.
They can't even make those anymore.
They can't? Why not?
Yeah, there was some sort of weird lawsuit from all the people who they were basically taking imagery from. And the main company.
It was
that
mainly
producing
driven by
them-
Elvis. You can still find they're coming back, but they're not as ubiquitous as they used to be. But I would like to say that we need to have a Black Velvet Leog.
Yes,
Oh,
we
we do.
do.
Holy
God.
shit, would that
That
be
would
cool.
be
The greatest
oh, man.
gift a fan could ever send us, and it will go up on the Leog wall of the Leog Lounge. And I mean the real lounge here, not just the
Hey,
virtual
man, if
one.
somebody did that, we'd have to invite them to come.
Yeah,
spend
shit.
some
You want
time
to
in the
send
lounge.
us an actual Black Velvet painting? We'll all put in money and fly your ass here.
Yeah, you know what? Jager 10, if you're listening.
or Travis Pickle.
Or Travis Pickle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
both those guys.
Very impressive. They're the superstars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but we all have to have a copy, so that's the tough part.
Yeah, that's
Well, hey, we got the spill party coming up sometime this summer.
You know, I got an interesting suggestion from a member recently because a lot of people have been saying, when are you going to do another League Arena? And I was like, well, you know,
you mean like the trivia?
yeah, and I
contest
was like,
on?
well, the next one we're talking about doing, I was doing it someplace where we do it out in public, and we could get fans who show up to be it where they're the ones receiving the prizes, and
So
they
that
team
Bo can
up
humiliate
with
fans in
yeah,
public.
exactly. They team up with a league member,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and you know, it goes that way. And they're like, well, why don't you just do it at the when the league party is? And I was like, huh.
At the spill party. Do you remember the spill
Well,
party?
no,
last
I
year?
mean, maybe not.
We were all about
maybe if
getting
we do
drunk
it,
and socializing.
but maybe if
and-
we do it earlier in the day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, the league lounge or the league trivia contest is going to be here and this time, and then after that is the party.
Okay, I would say, like, look, if we were more organized, the thing to do, like, if we got people coming in from out of town, I know, would be to, like, set up to do, because we don't record a Leog where they set up to record a Coco, and even Let's Do This is done in a different place. So say some people came in, we could, like, take them on a tour, like, hey, you're going to stop in, and we'll do, like, a small podcast with you, and now you go over to the Let's Do This studio, and now go to the Coco studio.
Well, Renegade, also known as John, is starting some sort of thing like the idea of doing a raffle there.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not really, I can't even remember what the onus was as far as where the money's supposed to go to for it. But either way, it
to
sounds
Renegade,
like
I'm sure.
oh, come on. To be fair,
Well, I
John's may be our biggest fan, not us. I mean, Spill in general. So
Well,
nobody puts in more effort.
he does put in a lot of effort. No, I'm not going to take that away
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
him.
No lie there.
But there's so many people.
Who's our
Yeah,
biggest
we
league
have a lot
fan?
of big fans, but overall for Spill, Renegade's probably the biggest. But he was one of the things he was asked me was like, well, would there anything you'd want to do with the league? I was like, well, you could raffle off an appearance on a league episode.
You could get us some hookers.
or yes, you could raffle off the right to
Or
buy
excuse
us
me,
some hookers.
escorts.
Yeah, in Texas, we call them escorts.
Yes.
And it costs roses, not dollars. If you look at the ad.
I see that's the thing. Okay, we get this party going again. Last year at the party, everybody came up to me going like, Leon, when we going to the strip club? You said we're going to go. And
was
I was like,
partially-
well, I was having a good time drinking here, but I've had 8 people ask me, all right, let's go.
That was
Leon
partial-
knows where the boobies are.
That was partially my fault, I admit.
Okay.
I kept telling people, they're like, I heard some rumor we're all going somewhere. I was like, yes, Leon wants to go to a strip club. Ask him.
Yeah,
Man.
and I was busy. I was talking to some other girl, and everybody asked me. I'm like, all right, I'm one of the hosts. I got to take everybody. Then after I take them, they come back. They get on Spill. They go like, man, Leon made us all go to the strip club. I'm like, fuck you guys.
I didn't even get to go. I had to leave early because of bitches.
Lame, dude.
Yeah, I didn't even get to make it.
Yeah, I was there. I didn't get to hang out much inside, unfortunately. You know who you are. Don't drink that much next time.
Oh no, who?
No.
I'm not going to say.
Not gonna
it.
say.
I'm not gonna talk about it. I love you, man. I really do.
Yeah,
but
we do.
dude,
we
that
do
was
love the guy,
totally
but-
inappropriate.
Yeah, that was a dick move there.
A member,
Seriously,
a spill member?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. But whatever issues you got, don't go and then have that issue come out.
Well, it seems like we're gonna have.
the Spill Strip Club adventure was not the time for me to be your psychologist outside of the strip club.
Yeah, and also you might want to familiarize yourself with the blind leading the blind, with that phrase.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were all blind
Well,
drunk.
also, like, you know what? I mean, I think it doesn't need to be said. Maybe it does, but like, with Vegas and Mexico, you go to a strip club, whatever happens there, you keep it there. There's no reason to talk about that, especially online.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Moving on.
Moving on.
We're gonna do it again, though. I want to go. I want to go to a strip club.
You better come with us this time.
Yeah. Well, I am. I am.
You know, if I have to
Bar none.
body check the girl you're with or whatever, you're coming.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, we've got people coming from because I've been checking the Spill Party forums, and it sounds like more people are coming this time.
Well, you know, it always sounds like more people
yeah.
are coming, but then the actual, you know,
Yeah.
buying a plane ticket and getting on there and making a hotel reservation to not just go like, hey, can I come stay with you guys?
Yeah. And how many requests has
That wasn't
Corey?
part of the deal.
How many requests like that has Corey gotten?
Oh, tons.
Yeah. Have you gotten any?
Tons. Actually, I did. I had
Did
to
you
tell-
really?
Yeah, I had to tell some people like, here's Corey's phone number. Call him.
Okay. Are you at liberty to say who, or do we have to wait till we're not
I'm not
recording?
saying who.
Okay.
No.
Oh man.
There's people I really like, but there's no reason to do the call out like that.
So we know that you know in the region, you know,
What I'm curious about
local
was, like-
will show up.
Well, one
you
of the
know?
people who slept on Corey's couch, I think last year was Kent.
Yeah.
Now
That
Kent,
probably won't be happening.
well,
this
yeah,
year.
with Kent saying like, "Oh, I left the site," except he was on there enough to get on CNN and show our website is one there. You could watch the Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
And-
Online movie critic on spill.com. Ken, I'm sorry, but that's not true.
And then I like Kent. I don't care what y'all say.
I'm not saying anything against Ken. I'm just saying that he was presented on there
I
as
know.
one of the critics from spill.com.
I know when it was
and
like
that's
hey,
just not the
yeah,
case.
I mean, it was one of those things like, who are these assholes who are illegally downloading this movie? Well, here's a guy from Spill who did it.
One of the reviewers from Spill who says, "Download everything.
Yeah.
It's awesome."
And Kent, I know you didn't mean it that
Yeah,
way.
he
It's
didn't,
just like
yeah.
the way, you know, some people could look at it like
You
that.
can't say, "Don't pirate stuff." But I did, and here's why it was bad.
And
that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
That doesn't follow.
And if it had been any other studio, I'd have like not given it a second thought. But you know how much trouble we've been having with Fox.
Yeah.
I mean, by the fact
Oh,
that
every
website.
website has.
I mean, Carlisle's sort of like the Flash. You know how the Flash is like with the Teen Titans and the Justice League. Well, Carlisle's sort of with us and with Ain't It Cool, and they get in hot and they get in hot water sometimes where we keeping our nose clean, but because he's with us, it kind of
There's
collateral damage.
They're
on
giving
our
us
end.
they're giving us the evil eye a little bit, like a halfway looking over one witchy eye, going, "What are you guys doing?"
So
Yeah,
let-
it's
let's-
like, look, if I give you a handy in the parking lot, will you forget this guy is with us?
Yeah.
Let's talk more about Kent sleeping on Corey's floor.
Yeah, his floor. Let's face it, Corey, if he came home and he didn't manage to get a girl to come home with that night, and Kent's sitting there looking all corpulent and half unconscious.
So
Hey,
you need
Kent, do you want to come sleep in the bed? You
Yeah,
looking-
but what's the chance Corey didn't get a girl that night?
That's true. That's
slim to none.
yeah, slim to none.
I mean,
well,
you
I
know,
don't know. He
if-
was
I
hanging
mean,
out with Ken all night.
I mean,
so.
if Corey's not going to get a girl on his own, he's going to like look around his friends and like, okay, who you got?
Like I said, he was hanging out with Ken all night and be like, "So, baby, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? I'm Corey's best friend, Ken." I'm sorry, this is so mean.
is, man.
Kent, you're our whipping boy right now, and we apologize for that. It's just funny, and we're going.
Hey,
with
man,
it, so.
I thought Kent was cool. I like the guy.
Well, he was, it's funny. He came over and he bought me a shot. He goes, "Man, I want to let you know, thank you so much for everything you do. Here, let me buy you a shot." And then he bought me another shot a little later on.
Well, for a
And then
guy
a
that
little
makes six
later on-
figures, why
and
did he
then
have
a
to
little
sleep on
later
Corey's floor?
A little later on, he came up and goes, "Hey, man, I'm kind of broke. Can you buy me a drink?" And then we get to the strip club, and he goes, "Hey, man, I don't have the money to get in or get any drinks. You think you should loan me some money?" I still haven't gotten that check in the mail. That's all right. That's
Well,
all right.
Okay.
It happens. It
'Cause I was
costs a
gonna tell
lot
my
to
story
get
about
here.
how Renegade kept trying to buy me a shot of tequila. I'm like, dude, I'm only drinking whiskey and vodka tonight, and I'm not fucking with tequila. That will make me sick. And he's just like, oh, okay, well, here's a shot of whiskey. And I smelled it. I'm like, bullshit, this is vodka.
Yeah, where do you think I am? Wasn't born
Wait, did I say
yesterday.
this is
motherfucker.
vodka? I was like, well, I don't know what I just said. But I just said, like, I knew it was tequila. He was trying to push on
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's stop bitching about Spill members that are incredibly loyal and kind to us 99%.
Hey,
of the
man,
time.
what about the girls? Metal Virgin and Stephanie.
Yes.
Those chicks are awesome.
They are really awesome.
I
No
mean, I
question
wish they
about
could
it.
be here for our chick show.
Well, this is Jason's show, though. Who are your favorite Spill members?
My favorite Spill
Yeah.
members. Actually, I have a. I actually have a. You know, there are only two Sith, right?
Two Sith?
What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Yeah, well,
Sith.
you got a lisp all of a sudden?
Sith, like Dark Lords of the Sith?
Yep, that's
Okay.
right.
I thought you were Antonio there. For
There are always wow.
I was going to say that.
There are always two. And there's me, and then there's Darkblade, who asked to be my Padawan, and I said no.
You already have one.
I said, you cannot be my Padawan, but you can be my Sith. So, yeah, there. Darkblade. Shout out to my boy Darkblade. Who else? Mostly the guys that ask me questions and engage in conversation on the forums and on my FAQ on Christian Alvarez, Chimera Triangle, Spider John. Yeah,
all nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
absolutely.
man.
Snoopy. Snoopy's a great fan.
True.
I can't say enough good things about Dr. Detfink.
I know. As much as we initially start giving him shit, he's so smart.
Dr.
And
Detfink
he always
is a
asks the
great
most
guy.
interesting questions. And yeah.
Absolutely.
And,
we got
Batman Mike. Is it Batman Mike or Batman Mikey? I can't remember. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel a special bond with him.
Dr. Detfink, Nakado.
Nakado.
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ever stop saying enough nice things about Nakado.
I know.
Dude,
Just try and stop.
that dude, not only is he good, he is generous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to a fault.
I mean,
We
to
really-
a fault. I know,
yeah.
I know. I mean, you talk about an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah,
Makes
no,
me feel
Nakata,
bad.
you're just too sweet for words. I want to know more about you. I want
know.
to gently kiss you on
Yeah.
your forehead as you fall
Oh, and then
asleep.
and I got to give a shout out on. He's been posting episodic fan fiction. I get Ryan.
Yes.
One of the most
You with the Adventures of Jason and Bo.
The Adventures
Are you
of Jason
serious?
and
You
Bo.
haven't seen
I have not seen this.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's this episodic short story, and it's written by Ryan Quarterman, who is, one of the most beloved and prominent members of Spill,
yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless the guy. We love the kid. He is posting the Adventures of Jason and Bo, and at one point, and this actually made me laugh out loud. At one point in the story, he has Bo and I walk into this room, and we find some shrunken shell of a man watching some Dane Cook movie like it's the fucking Ring video.
That must have been Grant.
It was Grant.
Oh, God.
And he was he was all broken and brain damaged at this point, and we went up and Bo and I were talking in the story, and we decided we have to kill him. We have to put him out of his misery. And in the story, Grant looks up at me and he's saying something, and I just say, "Oh, shut the fuck up, Grant," and I snap his neck. It was awesome.
That is great.
That is a thing of beauty.
It was so good. I think they were last time I checked, there were like 5 parts. So yeah, kudos to Ryan for writing the first piece of fan fiction I've ever had.
Now,
written
what about
me.
the exiled, vindictive, and impeccable legion of geeks?
They were trying
I'm
really hard
impressed.
for about a day.
No,
they're still going.
Dude,
Are they still going?
Dude, they're like Al Qaeda. Do not take your eye off of them.
Yeah.
That's the mistake the U.S. made with Al Qaeda, where it's like,
Okay.
oh, they're really cute. No, the minute we stop watching them, they will take over and they will destroy us.
It's true. They are possibly that supervillain group that at first we laugh and don't take seriously, but then there's, just some gigantic apocalypse that they've been setting up because we underestimated them.
Exactly.
How many members does this Legion of Doom have?
Probably
right
7.
Really?
13.
And we only have 1,004.
and two of them are
and
Leon
2 of them
and
are us. But
That being said,
now? Oh, I'm terrified. Oh,
you guys should totally join their group to keep an
Yeah.
eye on them.
yeah. Join if you hate us. All right, go ahead and sign up there. Good luck with that.
hey, man, we got some great members, but I would like to ask our members to please don't post multiple videos in your post. Because they're going to be totally ignored.
I'm going to call out somebody on this.
Okay, go
Bad
ahead.
Man.
Batman 3000.
Bad Man.
Oh, really? I thought
3000.
you were going to call out Guitaro Man.
No,
And
Guitar
I like-
Man is one of my favorite posters. Generally,
Mine
speaking.
too, but he just posted 5 in a row.
Yeah, okay. It's like, you know what? I like seeing funny stuff too, but generally speaking, I don't take the time to watch the videos.
That's the thing.
Because I just don't have the time.
It's diminishing return.
I've got 10 billion questions to answer. I don't have time to watch the video.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least they've stopped posting the Watchmen cartoons.
yeah, please.
God's
Yeah.
sakes.
Well, if one more person says, "Oh, that song Grant wrote was ripped off of the Watchmen cartoon,"
You think?
Really?
You
Wow.
know who really steals all the time and doesn't give credit is Weird Al. God.
Eat It was totally taken from Beat It.
Yeah.
Really?
We've already done this joke. Okay, back to Jason.
back to Jason.
Jason,
hell.
what is your favorite? Like, talk about some of the movies that really blew you away lately.
Lately?
Yeah, what is some of the stuff you're excited about?
Oh, like
I mean, you certainly haven't reviewed any of them. What? Well, I always give him the shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He
no,
always
you've-
gets all the crappy.
You've hooked
horror.
me up with 2 good ones in a row, to be
That's
quite
true.
honest.
That's true.
Yeah. What have I watched lately that's been really good?
What about Crank 2?
I haven't seen that yet. I really want to.
I know.
really want to.
You know what, Jason? I've been told from everybody, like, you need to go see this, but you got to see it with a friend.
Yes.
Okay.
And I haven't seen it.
And,
Let's go.
and have a few beers.
Let's go. Yeah.
have a
It's
few
a
beers.
drink and beer movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, seriously, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go with you and see it again because I fucking loved that.
Yeah.
I've got the first one on DVD and I haven't watched
I've
it yet.
never watched the first.
Oh,
one
you
either.
should totally watch the first one first.
Okay.
I know it seems weird to say for an action movie like this, but
Well, I remember you guys liked it.
So many of the jokes in Crank 2 are referencing stuff
Okay.
that happened, like minor events in the first one, and it's so much funnier if you've seen it.
Well, I haven't. Maybe we can
clearly
watch
make an
that.
event out of it. Okay.
Yeah, watch that and then go check the second
right.
one out. I've never seen the first one. I've got it, but I've never watched
Okay. Well,
it.
that's what we got to do.
Yeah. I've got a review of The Wrestler that's probably going to be posted by the time you hear this, hopefully, if I can finish it in time.
Indeed.
Which I loved, no
The
secret there.
Wrestler's awesome.
Yeah, The Wrestler. God, it's so good. It's so depressing, but it's so good.
Absolutely love that movie.
And then, I've got my review of The Burrowers, which I loved, a hit from Fantastic Fest. I'm actually, and this is something that I really brought up during my review of The Burrowers, is I'm a big fan of J.T. Petty, and he is the director of The Burrowers, and he did Mimic 3, Sentinel.
They made a Mimic 3?
No, obviously, Mimic wasn't all that great.
No.
Mimic
I liked
2
it
was
okay.
famously terrible.
Yeah.
But apparently, and I've heard this repeatedly, not just from Jason, that Mimic 3 is really awesome.
It
It's
really
funny
is.
because how when that happens, because like one of my guilty pleasure movies is the Substitute with Tom Berenger.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I forgot about that one.
It's one of those. And then when they did Substitute 2, they brought in Treat Williams.
Yeah.
And I thought it absolutely sucked. And then Substitute 3 comes on Showtime, and I was like, whatever. I watched it, I liked it. And then I was at Suncoast Video, and I saw they packaged together Substitute 1 and Substitute 3. It's almost like universally they
You
were
weren't
like
the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually picked up a copy of Mimic 3, and this is J.T. Petty, the director, actually did Fantastic Fest. He was there to talk about the Burrowers.
Yes.
And
I was there for that. I saw
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and to be totally Carlisle about it, I said,
Met him.
I said I really liked Mimic 3, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you and my
You're
mom."
that guy.
He's like, "You and my mom saw it."
Actually, I would love to borrow that from you because I heard many other people
Yeah.
talking about it. I
It's-
heard,
it's
I think
like
Scott
Rear
Weinberg
Window.
saying that it was good too.
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's
But-
actually really good, and I went back and watched on his on Netflix instant streaming or whatever. I watched his startup film Soft for Digging, which is his El Mariachi. I guess he made it for like $6,000, and it's made like a silent film. It's not great, but there's a lot of really good stuff there.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay.
As far as other stuff that surprised me, most
Anything recently that you're really excited about?
that I've seen.
Yeah, you've seen. That
you
you
know,
got
I've
to
been,
rave about.
I've been going back and watching old stuff lately. Outland with Sean Connery.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No, that was
yeah.
a remake of a western.
High Noon.
High Noon.
Yeah, it was kind of a High Noon remake. Yeah,
It's not kind of.
It
Yeah.
is. It was outspokenly. Like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
it's a
they
remake
made
about
no
it.
bones about it.
Yeah, that is one of the sci-fi movies, and I think Christian Alvarez actually asked me that in the forums on the FAQs. What are some of the sci-fi movies that aren't Star Trek, Star Wars, or whatever? And I said Outland. Peter Hyams, who also directed 2010, which was actually pretty damn
Which
good.
is actually pretty damn.
Yeah,
good.
it is one of those movies where you think, oh, yeah, it's a sequel, it's dumb. But it's like, no, it's actually a pretty good.
Yeah,
movie.
2010's not bad at all.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, and but I watched Outland for the first time recently, and I was like, wow, nobody ever talks about this.
No, but that's a great.
Okay,
movie.
here's the thing. If you liked Outland the movie, Jim Steranko, the artist, did like a a comic book version of it for Heavy Metal magazine.
Really?
They've never collected it all in one book, and they should have. So you have to find those hard to find Heavy Metal magazines to get it all. But it's beautiful.
Holy
I didn't
hell.
know that.
Yeah.
And Steranko is the guy who he's the reason we know who
did
Nick
that
Fury
right
is.
after Walt Simonson did the comic version of Alien.
Huh.
And
I remember that.
Yeah, it ran right after that.
I don't remember that. Simonson did Alien.
But,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
think his Alien got collected. It's probably really
It did-
super
it
hard
did
to find.
get collected,
Okay.
'cause that's
how I
yeah,
got it.
yeah, but the Outland never did.
I would love to see that.
I think there was one of the Thing too originally back when.
Was
Yeah,
there?
well, you know what? Dark Horse Comics early in the day. They did. I'm not sure if it was a retelling of the Thing. I think it was more of a sequel.
Well, there was a sequel,
But it was
thing.
beautiful.
But I thought at the time when it came out,
I would.
there was a comic.
I would
out.
love to
Yeah,
see Ben
hard to say.
Templesmith do the Thing.
Hell yeah, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. We're both big on. We're totally on Ben Temple.
Oh, yeah.
cock at this point.
Yeah, which
he's
I haven't
awesome.
read Wormwood, Gentleman Corpse, but
I haven't.
I
yet
hear it's
either.
fantastic.
I'm looking forward to reading that.
And of course, God, The Thing is one of my top 10 favorite movies ever.
Oh man, it's one of mine. Too. I mean, it's not like.
Is it really?
To me, it's not just like one of my favorite horror movies. It's one of my favorite
movies. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, it's timeless to me because
I love the Thing, but it's not on my top.
it's in my
no,
top
no,
10.
no,
I would
'cause
say
it's one of those movies like when I watch it, no matter how many times I've seen it, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
because it really cranks the tension and the paranoia.
God,
it's
that
one
scene
much.
where they're all strapped to the bench
Oh,
together.
Isn't
Yeah.
it like one of the only Carpenter movies that he did not do the soundtrack to?
Yeah, that was Ennio Morricone that did the
Yes.
soundtrack.
Really?
Usually it's John.
Fantastic
It's John
soundtrack.
Carpenter does his own score.
I think
but
that's
on
one
this
of the
one it was
reasons
Ennio
that
Morricone.
one is so good is because honestly, Carpenter's soundtracks are really interesting at first, and then they get a little grating.
Well, honestly, this is Ennio Morricone doing John Carpenter, and if I didn't know any better, I would think it was John Carpenter
See, I
doing the
don't-
score.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel that way. I wouldn't agree with you on that one.
I watched Prince of Darkness again recently.
I love that movie.
which that is a fucked up movie. It's uneven. It's not great, but I love it.
DJ Shadow prominently samples that movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
That's, I love that movie, and I love the ending so much. I just can't tell you how much I adore that ending.
Yeah,
it gave me the chills while still making me go immediately, I want to see the next one.
Yeah, that is part two of John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. I think the first one is The Thing, the second
Yeah.
one is Prince of Darkness, and the third one is In the Mouth of Madness. If
Which
I'm not
I
mistaken.
personally enjoyed, but I know lots of
a
people
lot of
didn't.
people didn't like it, but I really loved In the
to
Mouth
be
of
honest,
Madness.
I've never seen it, but I haven't met anybody who doesn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
It tanked critically and commercially, but it is. And I know apparently Cyrus got some shit for repeated mentions of Lovecraft during Leogs.
But here we go.
But here we go. Strap in. But yeah, that is honestly the best H.P. Lovecraft movie that is not a direct adaptation.
Even better than the one with Fred Ward as Lovecraft.
Oh, see that one's a stretch. That one's really a
Even
stretch.
better than the Reanimator?
Better than the Reanimator. Yeah, Reanimator's fun, but it's fun in like an Evil Dead 2 kind of way.
It
No,
is.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
it's-
one
it's barely
the
an
one's
H.P.
Le-
Lovecraft.
Yeah, the one Leon is talking about is Cast a Deadly Spell.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
is a great movie. It was an HBO original film.
That's what I thought.
And have you heard about this new The Dunwich horror film coming out?
The new one? Are they
Yeah.
remaking that?
Yeah, I saw some stuff on the web for it today. Yeah.
Really? Because
Yeah.
the original Dunwich Horror really kind of smacked of The Wicker Man.
Yes.
It had Dean Stockwell in it.
It was underwhelming.
Yeah, it was a bunch of fucking hippies dancing around naked and everything, and yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
Because the Dunwich Horror is really one of Lovecraft's best stories.
What'd you think of Dagon?
You know what I thought of Dagon.
I know.
We watched that together a couple of years ago.
We did, and
I liked it.
We felt very differently about it.
Yeah, I really liked it. It wasn't Dagon; it was Shadow over Innsmouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one of the best Lovecraft interpretations, I think.
Which isn't saying a lot. To
That
be
isn't
fair.
saying a lot, no.
I just thought it got way too goofy. But
Yeah. But I really liked it. But if you want a good feel for a Lovecraft movie, I would say In the Mouth of Madness and From Beyond.
You know, it's funny because they could have totally gone Lovecraft with Event Horizon, and I would have forgiven that, and it could have worked.
There are hints of it there.
There are hints of it, but then it turns into a very standard,
Yeah.
stupid Satan movie. And
It
it's
really
like,
does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they dropped the ball on that
Oh.
one.
They
I
totally did.
still really like Event Horizon.
I like what its build up. I hate its payoff.
See, I'm okay with the payoff, but it doesn't achieve everything that I thought it should
No.
have. And I still think that's Paul Thomas Anderson's best moment.
Nope. Mortal
No?
Kombat.
What?
Sorry.
What?
It's the only good
I don't
video-
even know
It's
you.
the only great video game movie. It totally achieves
It's
everything
not.
it's
no.
going after.
Did you just say it was a
Oh,
great video? There
wait,
are
is it-
no great
is
video
it
game
opposite
movies.
Day?
No, Mortal Kombat rocks.
Leon.
It's not,
Not-
it's
not
not
more
a,
than Resident
it's
Evil.
not a good movie.
I'm sorry,
It's
the first
a
Resident
great
Evil is the
bad
best video
movie.
game.
There-
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
the first Resident
Oh, you
Evil
agree with me.
is
Yeah,
the
you're
best
right.
video
Okay.
game movie, but there are no great video game
Well,
movies.
there's no good ones. But
There are
Resident
not even
Evil
any
is just
good
the
ones.
best
No,
one.
but they've all been B movies, and there are
Yeah.
good B movie video game movies. And Mortal Kombat is one, and
honestly,
Resident Evil is one.
I think the best video game movie, and this is up for debate, but I think it's Silent Hill.
I still haven't actually seen it. I talk shit about it, but I haven't actually watched it.
You know, it's funny because I always said like they can't make good movies from video games, and Corey used to argue with me all the time. No, you don't understand. Some of these video games are so good that they could, and he's like, okay, all these others haven't been, but Silent Hill, that has the best story, and you just wait and see. And I didn't even go see Silent Hill.
No.
And when it was over, I was like, so how was it? He was like, all right, you're right, and I'm never going to argue with you again.
No, Silent Hill does not have the best story. It has the best atmosphere, but the story doesn't make any fucking sense.
You could make an amazing Silent Hill movie, and I'm with Corey on that one, the old Corey opinion. You could. They just didn't.
Right.
I mean, seriously, David Lynch will watch the Silent Hill movie or play the Silent Hill games and then stop and say, it's good, but I really have no idea what the fuck you're
Not to
doing."
go back on this like old tune that I play all the time, but I think Silent Hill would make an amazing TV show because you could make it for cheap, and just
Yeah.
have this running thing with that whole like the whole people trapped in this town that's being covered in smoke, and are they
Yeah.
hallucinating? Are they just crazy?
Or are they
these
dead,
points?
or-
Are they dead? What's going
Yeah.
on here?
But Silent Hill could have been a good movie, but there were some fundamental failures in that everything was in your face, kind of like the Amityville Horror remake. There was no subtlety. It's like if everything is scary and in your face, nothing is scary and in
Very
your face.
true.
There was no restraint at all, and there was some horrific imagery, but they threw it in your face too much, and it just stopped being scary
Yeah.
way too quickly.
See, that's what I think. We have a whole new generation of people, of kids, who they thrive on that in your face thing. Because have you noticed how the subtlety is leaking out of so many movies we watch?
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's so rare that anything, and this is part of the problem with modern horror, is that it's so rare that anything can just say, you know what, sometimes it's better to just not show you what's happening
Yes.
and let you imagine it. And I know I sound like every 60-year-old film critic there
That's
is.
totally true.
But they're right on a lot of levels there. I mean, you can do the gory, crazy in-your-face thing and make that fun, but can you make it scary?
The only time and to go back to this, the only time gory in your face showing you everything has ever worked and still been scary is The Thing.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the only one. Well, okay, maybe The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
not really gory.
Right.
But with Exorcist, everything's not in your face.
Exorcist is a-
because that's
and
why
that's-
it won me
yeah.
over, because there's so much of it that is subtle.
Exorcist
That's why I
is
was
about-
hesitant to bring it up.
Exorcist represents evil.
There
It's
are a
the
lot
film
of-
that most
yeah.
accurately has made you feel like evil is in the room.
There are a lot of quiet moments in
Evil
Exorcist.
doesn't need to show you its portfolio for you to know how bad it is.
Right.
You
I mean,
know?
what won me over with Exorcist, because I didn't see it until I was an adult, and all this time I just figured like, oh, I've seen it parodied so many times, it's probably going to be more funny than anything. It'll be like whatever happened to Baby
And it
Jane.
still fucking scared you.
Well, yeah,
didn't it?
because it starts out like a real movie about
Yeah.
a single mom and her daughter, and then you see her as a young innocent child who's full of happiness, and then that slow change. And at first it's like she's just ill. She's gonna
Yeah.
get better. She's gonna get better. And you're deep in before
And then
you
the
realize
doctors are
she's
shrugging their
taken
shoulders.
over. Yeah.
If you want to make horror that's scary, you have to make a good movie first.
Yes.
And then you've got to have
Yeah.
scary things happen to
Show
these people
some
on top of that.
restraint.
Yes.
I mean, that is really what Hitchcock said, decades ago. He said, don't show people what's in the bag. Threaten to show them what's in the bag.
Yeah.
And that really is like The Others with Nicole Kidman.
I
Excellent
never
film.
saw that.
That is one of
Excellent
the scariest movies in the last 20 years.
It's very scary.
And it borrows heavily from The Innocents from 1961,
Oh,
if
I
I'm
didn't
not
even
mistaken.
think about that, but
yeah,
you're right.
it very much does. But, I mean, they have... One of the scariest scenes in The Others is a turning doorknob. A doorknob that's turning ostensibly by itself.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. And for God's sakes, horror filmmakers, show some restraint and you can creep people out a lot more. And that's something I think that Guillermo del Toro and his ilk really understand with his Spanish language films, like Devil's Backbone, Pan's Labyrinth,
Guillermo
Yeah.
del Toro
The Orphanage.
is like one of these great directors who sometimes won't get out of his own way. It's
Yeah.
like he lets his geek self block him from doing great work all the time.
Well, I think he wants to indulge himself sometimes, and he's earned the right to.
Sure.
It's just that when he does stuff that's really great, it's when he's not indulging himself.
Yeah.
It's when those more precious, the more thought out, the more artistic
Yeah.
films he does. Those are genius. Those are Oscar caliber films.
is at
where
his
it's
best.
shocking to see him do like Hellboy after that. You're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, why would
he's had his best when he does not have the budget to spend on scares.
You take
Yeah.
Devil's Backbone and you could remove the whole sci-fi horror
Yes.
geek
And it
element
would
from
still
it,
be a great
and it's
story.
a great movie.
That's still an
awesome.
amazing-
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is you have to have a good story first. You have to have a good story and good characters, and then you throw the scare element on top of that as well.
Yeah.
You know,
And for those of you out there who are budding filmmakers or writers or what have you, make sure you understand your characters first. Don't think of some horrific situation and then come up with characters to put in it.
Yeah.
If you can, and I know this is difficult, easier said than done, but come up with some characters and then throw some adversity against them and see how they will react to that.
Sure, because more often than not, by the time Jason shows up, we already hate the people anyway. Or we
Yes!
we don't care enough about them. So when they get killed, it's like it's either funny or it's like, okay, good, finally.
You know, I was going to say this about horror as well. The scariest moments, and you mentioned this with the doorknob and the others, are often the most mundane ones. To me, one of the scariest moments in film is in the early part of Poltergeist, when the mom's playing in the kitchen, and she goes, "Will you kids please stop pulling out the chairs from this table?" And she pushes them all back, and she turns around for 3 seconds
Yeah.
to close some cabinets, and turns back around, and they've all been turned into like a pyramid of perfectly
On the
balanced
table.
chairs
Jo Beth
on the
Williams,
table.
yeah.
She goes, "Oh!" And I screamed like a little girl.
Poltergeist, very underrated, by the way.
Oh, who's
yeah.
underrating that film?
Well,
That's
because
amazing.
it's so commercial, everyone just thinks, oh yeah, everybody's seen that. But if you go back and watch it, it's so fucking good. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of debate. Great score.
Great score.
There's a lot of debate on who actually directed it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, because
Yeah.
it's ostensibly Tobe Hooper, but
It reeks of Spielberg.
It does.
and
Yeah.
Spielberg was producing it, and the word is that Spielberg pretty much had such a heavy hand. Tobe Hooper just said, "Fuck you, I'm out of here," and Spielberg pretty much directed it. But Tobe Hooper contractually had to be on.
Yeah, and Zelda Rubinstein, Tangina, actually says, she said, well, every day I was there, it was Spielberg directing.
Because what did Hooper do before that?
Texas
Texas
Chainsaw
Chainsaw
Massacre.
Massacre.
And see, when you
Eaten
look at
Alive.
Texas,
Was Life Force before that?
No, Life Force was after
yeah, it was
that.
after, and none of his other movies that you know he directed look anything like
At all.
Poltergeist.
At all.
Yeah, Poltergeist is so Spielberg.
Yeah.
No, it is.
apparently, and this is all conjecture. I have nothing to back this up, but people have said that there were some substance abuse problems that caused Spielberg to step in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be because okay, when I think of Tobe Hooper, I think of the Billy Idol's "Dancing with Myself" video.
Did he do that?
Yeah, he did.
Really?
And they made a big deal about the fact that he directed that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And then nothing until Small Soldiers, which was kind of late.
I saw.
No, that was Chris Columbus.
No. Oh, wait a minute. No. Who did Gremlins?
That was
That was
That
Joe
Chris
Dante.
Columbus.
no, that was Joe
Joe
Dante.
Joe Dante. Never mind. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I
Yeah.
saw an interesting story today when I was watching the extras of No Country for Old Men. Josh Brolin was being interviewed about the Goonies at one point. I love that fucking movie. I love the Goonies. And he was like just starting as an actor, and so he's reading all this Stanislavski and stuff like that. And so he's like going to Spielberg, I was thinking this scene where I got to climb out of the cave. I'm thinking like maybe it's like climbing out of the womb, and I'm really upset, and I don't really want to climb out the womb, and I'm like crying, but I'm also afraid, so I'm tearing through it. And Spielberg said, how about you just climb out of the cave?
Okay, see, that's like the Laurence Olivier, Dustin Hoffman story.
Oh, from Marathon Man. Yeah. Go ahead. Tell the story. Tell the story.
Well, from what I remember, you probably remember it better than I do, but it was
Well,
something
yeah.
where Dustin Hoffman being the method actor, and he was supposed to be the guy who got kidnapped and escaped and was running around disoriented, and so he stayed up for days, and I think he took some drugs just to get himself completely disoriented, and he's running around all like, all right, I'm here. And Olivier just got in his face like, man, why don't you just act?
Yeah. It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like there's a place for doing that sort of thing, and then there's a place where it's not. And I think one of the hardest skills of an actor is probably being able to tell when is when.
Right.
There, and there's nothing wrong with doing acting in either form.
Well, my buddy Chip, who's the marketing director over at Boom,
Chip Mosier?
Yeah, Chip Mosier. He worked with early when he was going to a student at UT. Oh no, even before he moved to Austin, he worked on the film with Robert Downey Jr. because Robert Downey Jr. had a documentary about the film in the Democratic National Convention. I can't remember the name of it, but he worked with it. He's like an assistant or an intern on the film.
I can't remember.
I know I can't remember the name
I'm
of it
like,
either.
oh, what is
It was must have been like back when Clinton was getting elected. It was way back then. And he said he would see Downey, and he said Robert Downey Jr. was like deep into drugs at that point.
Yeah.
He said he would come in, be so completely high and disoriented that he would just like fall into a puddle in a corner while everybody else was setting everything up. And they would go like, okay, Bob, you're on. And said he would spring up, fully, on target, get up, nail his scene in one take.
And then pass out again.
Yeah, and then go back into his corner over and over again.
By the way, I just wanted to say, as far as Robert Downey Jr. goes, I think he really is one of the best actors working today.
He clearly is.
And he's certainly one of the most charismatic.
Yes.
But the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of my favorite movies of the past decade.
Great
and
film.
Still, people just won't see it or whatever. I don't know what it is. If it's just hard to find.
It's funny because it's one of my best friends. I told him about it. He was like, I don't know, that movie seemed to think it was so smart. I'm like, yeah,
it
is.
was.
A smart movie. That's good.
No, honestly, when we originally reviewed it, I said, this is probably my favorite script since Pulp Fiction. And I don't back down from that.
No.
I still think it's one of the best screenplays since Pulp Fiction. And it's Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer delivering these beautiful bon mots in this film.
It's them doing what because both of those guys are really good with humor.
Yeah.
I mean, not like trying to be comedians, but you have something that's like mostly dramatic, but with humor elements. Those are two guys who do that so well.
Oh, yeah.
God, and somebody please give Val Kilmer just one more shot because he did so good at this, and then he was just gone.
Yeah,
Not
this was a
really.
film that should have been his comeback, and it just...
Well, I think for him, because he was all into his New Mexico ranch, even talking about running for governor or out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I last thing I heard this week was that he's selling it.
Something's up with him because I think he just gave up on acting because I've seen him in pictures just real recently, and he's very bloated looking.
Right.
And,
Oh, yeah. He was in Felon with Stephen Dorff, which was a great film, straight to video. Nobody saw it, That was one of the first things I reviewed for the site.
Things are reviewed.
Yeah, really good film, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know if he gives a damn anymore. Or maybe nobody wants to work with him anymore because he is notoriously problematic.
He is. But then again, so was Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
a while.
But he fixed his shit.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I mean, but
I've always heard that even when he was a problem, he still always got the job done.
Right. That's the thing I was saying about
Yeah.
the story Chip told me. It's
Yeah.
like, he might have been high, but when it came to work, the guy was a professional. He did his job.
Even in the worst periods of his life when he was on a lot of drugs, he's still amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
go watch the movie Soap Dish.
Oh, yeah.
You want to see a funny as hell movie.
I didn't even know he was in that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
there is no movie that you will watch where you go like, Robert Downey Jr. sucked in this movie.
Yeah.
You might say this movie sucked, but you will never say he was bad in it.
Yeah. There's another good one, Air America, another really great film.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. in it. That one is a lot of fun.
With Mel Gibson.
With Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Let's not forget about Weird Science,
Yeah,
where he
How you
was the
ding?
villain. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing?
the villain.
Beer.
Wait, how was he the villain?
He
in
was
Weird
the jock asshole.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Well,
No,
he
Cyrus. He was Michael. Michael Three Names' best
Anthony
friend.
Michael.
No.
You are so wrong.
Oh, you're right. Oh shit.
Yeah, that was a guy who now teaches college
At Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, who starts off all his classes by going, "Yes, you're wondering where you know me from. I
that's
was
right. That
Wyatt
guy's name
in
is
Weird
Ian
Science."
something.
Yeah.
Elon Mitchell Smith.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Robert Downey Jr. is Michael Anthony Hall's best friend in something.
Is he? I don't
Is
know.
he?
Well, I know
Wasn't
they were on Saturday Night Live together.
It wasn't in Weird Science because there he played the main bad guy.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he was
He was the guy who dumped the Slurpee on his head at the mall.
He was no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. He was the best friend in Back to School. He was
Oh, yeah.
Keith
Oh,
Yes,
that
he
freaky
was.
looking
Derek
dude.
Lutz.
No, the
Okay.
freaky
According
looking
to
dude from
Wikipedia.
Christine.
Yeah, the kid from Christine who was
Rodney Dangerfield's
son. He was that guy's best
But I mean,
friend.
let's not forget Chaplin. I mean, holy shit,
Oh,
what
yeah.
a performance that was.
Did
And
he got nominated but
nominated
didn't win?
for an Academy Award, did not win, but he won the BAFTA for it.
Yeah.
So.
I never did see Chaplin.
Chaplin's
I didn't either.
fantastic. He was in Shortcuts, which was one of those movies that unless
Where
you're
you
a
see
giant
Julianne-
film buff, you
Julia-
probably never saw it.
Yeah.
Where you
But it's a
see
great movie.
Julianne Moore's Bush.
Yeah, it's another one of those.
I'm sorry, have they made any movie where you didn't?
It's another Robert Altman statement on how much he hates people.
I actually thought that they were importing her Bush into movies she's not even in at this point.
Which is okay with me.
Yeah, she's an attractive woman. She really is. She's in that Nicole Kidman school of over 40, but still, damn.
She's a redhead, so you're all over it.
Yeah, well, that might have something to do with that.
Right there with you, Cyrus. Right there with you.
Well, we're coming towards the end of this point 5, but I want to give Jason a last chance here to anything else he really wants to address here, that he wants to say,
Okay.
you know what, this is what I love.
Now's
and
your
y'all
time
should
with
know
no
about
bow
it.
to come
I'm
in and
gonna-
snatch the mic from you.
I'm gonna put you guys on the spot.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What have I done?
And this is something we were talking about before. What is, and totally random, what is your favorite, what is your ideal Avengers lineup?
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, without a list of superheroes in front of me, then we get
Oh,
different.
come on.
Okay. No.
Do they have to actually be superheroes, or can they be hot redheads?
I can tell you mine.
Someone in Marvel
Because
Comics. How about
for
that?
me, it's like I really love that original lineup, especially when they got Captain America. But when I came into the Avengers, what I always loved was it was in the 70s. It was the Jim Shooter writing and George Perez doing the art when they brought back Wonder Man for the first time, and you had the sexual tension between him and the Scarlet Witch
Yeah.
and the Vision. Cap was leading. You had Yellow Jacket and the Scarlet Witch. Iron Man was still in there, and the Beast. And yeah, that was my favorite.
That was
it was
right
before
after-
John Byrne took over, and not that he ruined it. He was still good, but the Perez Jim Shooter issues, those were my favorites.
You guys are more
Okay.
knowledgeable about this stuff than I am as far as recalling original lineups. I mean, I'll say this. Hank Pym annoys the shit out of me and almost always has. Even in reading the early stuff, I'm like,
Really?
God, what a whiny dick.
Yeah.
And the Wasp, Janet, is even worse. I just
Well,
like
she's
when
such
they
a-
when
she's
they
such a
killed
flirt,
her when they
and-
killed her recently, I'm like, you know what? This is one of those characters you can let stay dead. Thank you
Damn.
very much. There's never been a Wasp run or event or anything she's been involved in where I went, oh, thank God, it's Janet. You know, I just don't, I don't like her character. I never have. And I was like, wait, your power is what? You really suck. If you weren't hot, you never would have been an Avenger. That's all there is to it. So no, I do like Hawkeye, even though I usually hate the temperamental characters like that.
Yeah.
I do like Hawkeye, and I like the whole Mockingbird coming back thing now. I would like to see
I'm
once all
ambivalent to
this
that.
Dark
I
Reign
am
shit
too.
gets wrapped up to see both of them become Avengers
See,
again.
okay, here's the thing with that. Like, they have some issues where she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad to be back with you," but then they have also another series where she's like, "Dude, we got married. I barely know you. I've spent more time on the Skrull planet than I have with you.
Yeah.
and don't touch me."
Yeah. Now, I would like to see balanced for powers in the new Avengers, like all over the place. Like, why isn't Doctor Strange in the Avengers? He obviously has no problem joining supergroups. He was in the Defenders.
Well,
for a
He's got
while.
some shit going on.
Well, right now, I'm
he
just
is in
saying.
the new Avengers, and that's something that I mentioned to you guys in the email. Is
Yeah.
that the latest issue of New Avengers really pissed me off, partially because Chris Bacalo, his art, whenever he tries to do action sequences, they don't make any fucking sense, and you can't
You
tell
know
what's
what?
going
when
on.
that dude first hit the scene, he might even have been nominated for or won for Best New Artist. Like when
Back
he
in
drew
Generation X.
back when he drew the Death miniseries.
Oh,
then
yeah,
moved on,
yeah.
because that was the first thing he did, and then he moved on to doing
The guy cannot do a coherent action
well,
sequence.
but when he first started drawing, he was amazing. And then he started getting into more exaggerated cartoony stuff. And now it is, when you look at his art, not only am I not impressed by it, but yeah, I can't make out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like whatever's going on is in his head.
Yeah.
and he has no idea that
And
he's not translating it to everybody
I've sat there
else.
and I looked over the panels because they cut between him and some other artist. I'm not sure who in the latest issue of New Avengers, which is dealing with Doctor Strange trying to find a new Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, I think I read that one.
Yeah, it's the one that came out today, actually, as of this recording.
Okay,
anyway.
then I haven't read it.
But yeah, they it was Bacalo and some other artist. I don't know. They were cutting back and forth, and all the action sequences were the ones with Bacalo, and they didn't make any sense. You couldn't tell what the hell was going on. But that whole issue just kind of pissed me off. There's a lot of good stuff to it. But I'm a big Doctor Strange fan, and
Yes.
I'm a huge proponent of him being in the Avengers.
Yes.
Um,
And, you know,
But-
I mean, people from all over, like, okay, I'll tell you this. I love Spider-Man being in the Avengers. And I know
yeah.
that's a controversial point because people
Yeah.
are real passionate one
I
way or
love
the
it
other
too.
over that. But you know what? That's one of those things where I'm like, he's fucking earned that shit.
He
you know,
has.
he's earned having people who have his back because through 99% of the history of Spider-Man, nobody ever has his back.
That was what that
Even the
character was all
people who
about.
have his friends are like, well, Jameson keeps saying you're a bad guy. It's like, are you really still believing that bullshit? Jesus Christ. What does it take? What does it take? There was a point I was reading in Marvel Team Up recently, like less than a year after a Spider-Man issue, where Spider-Man saved Iron Man's life. Spider-Man was out fighting a supervillain, and Iron Man took a look at the situation and goes, well, I don't know who this other guy is, but I'm going to repulsor blast Spider-Man because the Daily Bugle keeps saying he's bad. He just saved your fucking life. What the hell is that bullshit?
Well-
So you know what? Him being part of the Avengers, he earned that shit, and he should be like. I want to see. I know. Fuck Joe Quesada first off, just because I haven't said it for like 2 Leogs, but
It has
you know,
been 2 Leogs since we said that.
yeah, but you know, it's like give this guy something, and one of the things he deserves is to be a respected
Yeah.
member of that group and a senior member, where the other Avengers, all these new fuckers, go. What should we do, Peter?
Yeah,
you know?
but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't want to let him mature and be an elder statesman.
Well, that's
He
one of the
should
things
be.
that happens in the new issue is that they have stolen, and this isn't a big spoiler or anything, but they have stolen a Quinjet from Norman Osborn's regime.
Yeah.
And Peter doesn't even want to fly on it. He's like, no, stealing is stealing. I don't care who you're stealing from. And all the other renegade Avengers are like, no, seriously, come on, get on. He's like, I'm not okay with this. And he is still like the most moral character. It's actually really, really cool.
yeah, I was gonna say I got mixed feelings about that, but if it was written well, I'd go with it.
Yeah. And
I mean, you have to sell me on that because Peter's got a lot of reasons to hate Norman Osborn.
Oh, yes.
And I don't see
Yeah.
him having an issue with stealing a Quinjet from Norman Osborn, no matter what the law says.
I know, and that's the thing is that, and it's been brought up lately when they were talking about Norman Osborn being in charge of Hammer, you know, and being in charge of the nation's defense and all that, and someone in one of the last issues said, "Well, if Norman Osborn really is in league with criminals," and Peter just blows a gasket. If? What do you mean if?
I was always say every time they slip over into some parallel universe, which happens every other week in the world of comic books, nobody's afraid of tearing shit up over there if there's a fascist organization that's taking things over.
Yeah,
it's like, guys, we're in that parallel universe.
Well, that's why I loved Hawkeye going out on the news and saying,
Yeah.
I'm Clint Barton. Yeah, I've had my issues in the past, but Norman Osborn is a fucker. You know?
He ironed
that
a
was
lot-
a great scene.
I that won back a lot of respect for me for the character of Hawkeye
Yeah.
for that, who had I almost sort of forgotten / given up on since he stopped being pretty much Hawkeye. you
well,
know?
he was dead for a while.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because of
And then
Bendis.
came back as what, Ronin? Was that
Ronin.
his-
Ronin, yeah.
Which was
But here-
well, that
And
was
now
in-
Bullseye is Hawkeye.
It's
well.
confusing. But here's one of the other things that Bendis really pissed me off.
You and Eric from Tribe Comics should get together.
No, I'm a big Bendis fan, actually.
Okay.
I read a lot of Bendis' stuff, but I've also been reading, thanks to Cyrus, The Essential Son of Satan.
Yes.
Oh,
she
that
thanks
good?
me for every third Leon.
I do, yeah.
That's really good, huh?
I really like it. It's
He's
that
in
total.
Marvel. He's in the new Marvel Zombies.
He is, and he's handled well there. Written by Fred Van Lent.
Yep.
But he is also Son of Satan. Damon Hellstrom is actually in the last few pages of the latest issue of New Avengers.
Yeah.
And he is written entirely differently than he has to my knowledge, ever been represented. Completely differently than he is in Marvel Zombie Series 4. Obscenely differently than he is written in the Essential Son of Satan stuff. In this one, he's like Sid Vicious with like Satan powers.
See, that's not at all the one that
sounds
Marvel
kinda
Zombie
Not
one.
at all. No, I mean, previously he was a very tight upper lip, very aristocratic New England guy who was very isolated and cold.
He was scared of his own dark side.
Yeah, yeah. And in this, he's like, well, I'm the son of Satan, baby.
See, he's not like that at all in Marvel Zombies, which is taking place concurrently.
Yeah.
In there, he has clearly given in to his dark side to some level.
Yes.
Where he's like, you know what, this is who I am. Fuck it. And I'm powerful. Shit, stay out of my way.
Yeah.
But he's not playing this whole bratty frat boy type
Exactly.
attitude thing.
And that's how Bendis wrote him in the last issue of New Avengers. And I was just like, really? Do you have carte blanche that much, Bendis, where you can just say, well, the hell with
change.
everybody else's characterizations. I'm going to do what I want.
I don't know. I've been reading his Twitter lately. I'm a little scared.
Enough with
by
the
Bendis
Twitter.
now.
No more bringing up Twitter.
Well, it's something the actual people are saying. What difference does it matter where we got it from?
No.
What is your issue with the Twitter?
Twitter's too much. It's
Is it?
just too much.
I'm going to start Twittering you.
I won't respond.
No, I'm
You
going to
have
start.
a Twitter account, so don't even start with me.
I'm going to start updating. Leon is doing this right now. Leon is doing that. Leon is bitching about Twitter.
That's
I'm still
awesome.
Twittering.
I think I'm going to start doing that.
I think it's a great
That's
idea.
what you'll be posting the whole time. Leon is bitching about Twitter. You can just copy and just paste that every 10
We're going to
minutes.
start a new account just called Leon is bitching about. That'll be your Twitter name.
Old man Leon.
Old man. Leon.
I love when I get an email message saying, like, this person is following you on Twitter. I'm like, well, good luck, Joe, because I ain't updating it.
Last time you updated was in what, like January?
January or February or December even.
Hey, it's all right. I understand your problems with it. I do, and I barely ever check it. I just have those days that I there's an interesting conversation going on, and you can. It's so interesting to watch it go viral because Twitter is one of those few things you can see how viral really works. You can watch it spread out and flow from a source. And
Yeah.
it's really fascinating to watch how that works.
Every day, our good friend Derek will post 10 Twitters per hour.
That's true.
Holy hell.
Yes, he will.
Who's Derek?
I mean, I thought he was like, I wrote him back. I'm like, dude, you're on Facebook so much. How are you getting any writing done? He's a writer. He's like, oh, I'm not using Facebook. I'm
wondered
using
that-
Twitter.
I wondered
And I'm
that
like,
same thing.
Same thing.
Well, Carlisle and my Jason and I, my friend Scott Weinberg, who unfortunately we drunk dialed during the last.
Oh,
call.
yeah.
And I'm very, very sorry about that. It wasn't my idea. I just want to say that. But those guys post like 10 Twitters an hour. And they're some of the most prolific writers I know.
Yeah.
On the internet.
It's
I'm
like,
how
live
do
your
you
life,
find
meet your
time to do
deadlines, get back to your word processor.
that? Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to show this to your editor if you don't cut it out.
one of the best Twitters is Nick Nolte.
Oh, I didn't know there was a Nick Nolte. one.
damn it, Chewbacca.
Actually, the guy.
It's not really Nick Nolte. It's a fake Nick Nolte, but it is hilarious.
The guy, oh god, this is killing me. I don't have to look it up. But the guy who played the roommate in Shaun of the Dead,
Oh yeah,
what's his name?
I don't remember.
Peter, god damn it. I'm
Pumpkin eater.
just forget his name. If you look it up, he was his roommate in there. He did the voice of Darth Maul.
Oh yeah,
He played his nemesis, Simon
At
Pegg's
last we will
nemesis
have our revenge.
in Spaced. But he has the funniest fucking Twitter out there, and all he writes is comedy. Really, he just posts these things like he'll go like, you know what I never knew about Star Trek is what he's been doing all this week, and he's just making up goofy, bizarre shit that's totally not true.
I have to follow
and
this.
it's awesome. He is so funny.
I heard he was really
That,
yeah.
and of course, fake Grant Morrison, which is the most awesome Twitter website ever.
All right, sorry. It's about time we wrap this
Is it
up.
I
time?
know it's
Because
time.
our good friend Greg is playing somewhere.
Yeah,
And Jason,
and
I
you
promise
guys are gonna
we're
go.
going to go check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus, I don't know if I'm gonna make that. It's gonna be kind of rough. What time is it? It's almost 11.
Isn't that a
Yeah.
black
Is
thing?
it? Oh, shit,
I
it's
don't
almost
wanna-
11.
I don't
Come
want
on,
to
he's been on stage for
I
an
don't want
hour
to get
already.
beaten up.
Shut up.
I just walk into some bars and they beat me up. They're like, don't even ask, say anything. Like, yeah, that guy can clearly use a good ass beating. And probably a Greg show would be one of those.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, aren't you the guy always giving shit to him on those podcasts?
What's your problem with sports, my boy?
All right, guys. Well, you know what that means. It's time to wrap up another Leon.
Woohoo!
7.5. This is the end. Thank you, Jason, for letting us explore your fragile psyche.
Hey, yeah, it was. It was.
It was.
And we'll be back next Friday.
Next Friday.
And which will be Free Comic Book Day.
Yes, it will. So go
Wait,
out
no.
to your store.
Is it next Friday? This free comic book day?
It's May 1st, right?
Yeah, that's a Friday.
I thought it was
isn't
May 2nd.
Well,
No,
okay.
May 1st is free comic book day.
No.
Is it?
No, Free Comic Book Day is always a Saturday.
Oh,
so
I thought it was.
if May 1st is a Friday,
Yeah,
then
it's
May
May
2nd.
2nd.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Google it, please. Free Comic Book Day. You can actually there are going to be links on there where you can find the closest local comic book shop near you, and go in there. And usually they limit you to about 3, but there's a great selection like Green Lantern, Blackest Night, Zero is one of them. There's a Thor centric Avengers. There's all sorts of stuff. Everything from the superhero ones to the superhero centric to the indie ones. There's a great selection this year. Check out Atomic Robo of superheroes.
Now,
on your
don't
thing.
think you're going to walk in with a shopping cart because that's not what
Yeah.
happens. Each place has a limit. You're allowed to look at their
Hey,
free
man,
comics and take a certain.
Don't
route.
limit people. Go in with your backpack and just take as many comics as you can, and try to get out of there. And if they stop you,
So what
just
you're-
say like, "I thought it was Free Comic
So
Day."
what you're saying is rip off comic book
Yeah.
stores?
Grab one of those absolute
I'm saying
Sandmans
try to.
I think that's what. Oh, I see.
and send us the video.
And send us the video, and we'll send you a
But
balloon
yeah,
that says
drag your
sucker.
friends. And I know some of you listening to this are just spill listeners who don't really read comics. Well, go into the store, grab a couple of freebies, drag your friends along with you, check them out, see if you can find something cool. There's a lot of good stuff. If you Google Free Comic Book Day, you can see what all's coming out, and you can even read previews and most stuff.
Don't forget to send an email to Marvel Comics and tell them to save Iron Fist.
Shit,
Don't forget to send a message to Jason that he can pass on to his cinematographer
yeah.
and say, "Stop it! You're being a douchebag."
right. And
Because we want to see these goddamn Jason videos.
hit Jason up for some of these CDs or DVDs with his movies.
Yeah, if you're
And,
interested, let me know.
And earlier when we were giving shout outs, I just wanted to give a quick one to Ghost Rider. Because she listens to these podcasts even though she doesn't read comics.
She doesn't even understand them, and
I
yet
know.
she listens and writes back to us. God bless her.
Oh, that's our girl.
Yeah, exactly. God bless her heart.
Yeah, indeed. But I guess that's it.
All
I
right,
got
then.
nothing else other than to say the parting words. Jason, you want to take it?
Long live the League.
Long live the League.